The West Coast swing continues for the HTL League. Today, we're in the heart of the Mojave Desert, where all the drivers are going to roll the dice, roll the bones, roll the cars maybe, to see who's going to come out on top, whose gamble will pay off, and who's going to leave Sin City with nothing more than a broken heart. We will find out in 145 laps around this mile-and-a-half track at Las Vegas. It's the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the HTL Cup Series live on ABN. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joe Cortez. Kevin Young joining me in the booth as always, and Chrissy Ryan pushing the buttons in the back, making sure we all look good. Kevin, we've had two great races to start the season. We've seen Daytona, we've seen California, and now it's time to put it all on the line here in Vegas.
Yes, it is. Obviously, you were talking about heartbreak a little bit earlier, and for the very least, most of this field here, the 36 drivers, about 35 of them, maybe a few less, 34, 33, are going to have their hearts broken more than you would see as someone gambling just down the strip down the road. However, for one driver, they will have a very happy moment when the all sevens come up and they find their place in victory lane. But this race has been very interesting. Watching the practice so far and hearing some of the drivers' notes, I think we're in for quite an interesting showing, to say the least. And we'll go over all of that when we watch qualifying. But right now, as the sun sets and we get close to qualifying, the drivers take the last little bit of warm-up, I think we're going to be in for a very nice show. And considering HTL usually delivers these things, I think there's no chance it won't deliver.
Weather going to play a big part in tonight's race, as it is windy out here. Currently, National Weather Service has a 66 degrees outside, zero humidity, but look at that wind. 39 mile per hour gusts coming out of the southwest. We may have to fix the monitor there, because I don't think that's right. 37, 38 mile per hour gusts coming out of the southwest. It's going to make these cars fast in the backstretch and slow as molasses up front.
Yeah, we've been hearing some of the drivers complain. 1 and 2 could be pretty much flat out due to these wind conditions. 3 and 4, though, could be very, very tight. And that could be the spot at the track that catches a lot of drivers out if they're not careful. So right now, again, these warm-ups are a good chance to figure out the conditions, figure out what's going on, and you can use this to your advantage for the race and obviously qualifying as well. And obviously with no fast pairs in these series for these kind of tracks, these drivers have to be cautious to 3 and 4 and not get caught out lap 1, or else they could be having a quick day at the office.
Not only that, but they also have to manage the cars underneath them as well. Only 5 sets of tires available for tonight's race. So it's going to be very careful. You have to manage their cars very carefully, especially going around the front stretch in turns 1 and 2, where it's going to be a little bit harder on their tires going flat out, trying to fight the wind. 40 mile per hour wind gusts, not quite tornadic activity, but it's certainly going to make for a very, very difficult day for all these drivers.
Yeah, 100%. And some of these drivers need good rounds this week, as they've had some bad luck the past 2 weeks, and it's very hard to get that going when you have such strong winds. But sometimes Las Vegas can be a bit of a surprise, a bit of a shock. We'll have to see how these drivers play out when they're pushed against the wall here. As you see one car mowing the grass there. It's the 27 of Selena Thompson. It's going to take a little evasive action through the grass here, and will obviously tow to pit lane. But with actually, she'll spin it around. But with about 2 minutes and some change to go, the question is, what more can you really do in this practice if you haven't been doing much practice here? I think really the last thing you can do is just try to get a good entry and exit the pit lane and figure out what you can do if we have green flag pit stops.
Fastest race lap, fastest qualifying lap were set back in season 1 in the HTL Cup Series. 29.993 fastest qualifying lap for 180 mile per hour average. I don't think we're going to see those kind of speeds tonight, especially with the winds as they are. Right now, fastest run in qualifying is around 29.471. That's with the draft, and that's with other drivers right now. The person who is currently fastest in practice, a fill-in driver for the 99, Yair Rodriguez, currently sitting on top. Can he hold on to the pole, though? We'll have to see in just a few minutes.
Yeah, definitely 99. I've seen them through the Truck Series. I've seen them even in some Cup races. They are a fast driver. Just got to make sure they keep it clean at the very least and make sure they can capitalize on it. But if they can have a good, nice race, they definitely, as a fill-in driver, can be a bit of a shock and join the likes of Tommy Reynolds, the other fill-in driver, maybe not a fill-in driver, but part-time driver in his case, and have a chance to join the Winners Club. So could steal another win from a full-time driver if he can keep this pace up in practice throughout the main race.
Other drivers notable up at the top of the practice pylon: Joshua Susi in the 81, Blake Henderson in 25, Seth Wansing the 88, the 3 of Caitlin Hike back in action. Jonathan Gaiman up there as well, and Pacey Wygen, the man who would be king last week, but fell just short after a couple incidents out there. So a lot of familiar drivers, a lot of familiar faces out in the race tonight. We'll have to see, again, who's going to be the one holding all the chips when this is said and done. Qualifying will begin here in just a few minutes to give us an idea of what we can expect.
Yeah, qualifying, obviously, it's not the most indicative because race pace, because we've seen drivers qualify poor and get up through the field through race pace, but it at least gives a little bit of an idea of who the have and have-nots are when the chips are on the table.
Even with the wind, expect this to be a rather quick race for the HTL Cup Series tonight. Generally speaking, the longest race they've had, Season 2, 1 hour 46 minutes. Shortest race, 1 hour 21 minutes. So these guys don't have a lot of time to get the job done. They've got to work through and treat it like a sprint race. Yes, there'll be stages. They've got to be mindful of that. But when all's said and done, you don't have time to play slow. Slow play kills here. You got to go all in and hope that your bet is good enough to get the win, to get the trophy here tonight.
And as warm-up has officially concluded, we are going to get ready for qualifying. So don't change that dial. Qualifying will begin right about now.
Qualifying, getting ready as the first drivers will come and take their place at the start-finish line to get everything going. We're here watching HTL Cup Series live on ABN1. We are still waiting to find out who's going to be the first one to come to the line and take their one qualifying lap around this 1.5 mile track. Not a cookie-cutter 1.5 mile track. It's a tri-oval here, very reminiscent of Kentucky Speedway, but a little bit smoother, a little bit easier to navigate. One of the tri-ovals by Speedway Motorsports Incorporated. So we should see some fun racing out here, especially with the wind playing such a big part. It's going to be like a mini Daytona almost.
And we've seen in real life, these trials have been very entertaining and provided good racing. So definitely these drivers know, unlike maybe in previous years, previous situations, in the previous elevation, the next-gen car, where these tracks would be a bit of a hassle, now that the kind of iRacing has updated this next-gen car more to the real-life physics and the real-life components, this should definitely be interesting to watch as these drivers make this car handle around this track. But as we look right now on the pit lane right now, it looks like the first car coming down is going to be Caleb Eichler. Now, there is some tad concerns that they may not be able to make the race due to possible weather in their area, but right now still going to qualify the car. But if they do not make it, they do have a fill-in driver ready to go. So as long as Eichler takes the flag, their starting spot will be official and they will take this race. But right now at the moment, Eichler getting ready to line off P1, and I think they're about to fire off.
Here he goes for the Stepping Stone Motorsports driver, the first of the 4 to qualify in his group. Best finish he's ever had, 6th place at Talladega back in season number 3. The Cheddar's Ford Mustang coming out of pit road to take the warm-up lap before 1 of 2. Zachary Meredith, the 17, also making his way off pit road right now. The coast-to-coast driver will qualify as well. Matthew Boone in the warm-up circle right now, waiting for these 2 drivers to take their lap.
Yeah, this is going to be a bang, bang, bang qualifying as drivers quickly fire on out and get out there as quick as they can. The 55 Cheddar's machine will start their lap. We're going to keep an eye on this spot because obviously it's the first run, but just worth noting how bang, bang this is going to be. The 17 just crossed the line now. So similar to kind of Auto Club last week, when one car finishes a run, the second car is going to basically be following in tow, in lockstep. I'm going to see 2 times fire up the board as quickly as they can. So speaking of Caleb Eichler, their lap so far has been pretty all right. They're going to be the torch setter, the torch bearer, that is going to set the time that all the rest of the field will have to beat. As Eichler comes low here, going to cut the dog leg aggressively. It is going to be a 30-30, so a nice little round number to start it off. And as the 17 is going to come across the line second here, we'll see where they slot in that 17 machine, the pizza and wings combo machine. It is going to be switching pole position, breaks into the 29s at 29.97.
Matthew Boone, the 28 machine, next one to take is will take off and take his warm-up lap. Marcus Chafin now in the warm-up circle. Both those drivers should be off and away here very, very quickly. The 28 machine, part of Tombstone Motorsports in alliance with Unforgiven Motorsports. We'll see what he can do to come out here. He was your HTL Season 2 champion, has 4 HTL Cup Series wins. Can he make it 5 tonight when he goes all in at Vegas?
He's been a hungry driver. Obviously had a little bit of trouble last season. Did not make the playoffs, but someone that is fast. We know by winning a championship shows you have the speed to be competitive. and like a few other drivers, definitely trying to hold on to make that run. So Boone runs it in here, going up to the wall here, obviously looking smooth here. Again, the winds are a little bit calmer than they were during the practice session, but still very strong. So you're not going to escape those winds all that much, but a little less than 35. But as Boone comes off of 4 here, again, going to cut the dog leg, which most drivers are going to do here, and across the line, and it's going to be pole position for him, a 29.90. And as Marcus Chafin, the other driver right now in the 21 machine, is going to come off here off the wall. Again, said it was going to be bang, bang. Across the line to 21. Can he beat the 29.90? He cannot. Will slot in P3 just ahead of Caleb Eichler.
Hello, Kitty. The Sanrio 2981 machine of Josh Susi is the next one to come off pit road and get ready for his warm-up lap. Dustin Hall in the 12 will be right behind him. Joshua Susi had a great run last week at California Speedway. The Lady Liberty Motorsports driver was your season 4 champion, defending champion, and he won it last year at California Speedway. Auto Club Speedway, as it's known now. 2 HTL Cup Series wins underneath his belt, looking for a third one tonight in that very auspicious pink car.
Obviously, last week, that scheme was very eye-popping, something we don't usually see out of Joshua Susi, but the scheme didn't bring him much luck, so he said, all right, let's run it again this week, and we'll see what we can do. Speaking of the 2 cars out on the track at the moment, the 81 and the 12, we were talking to a few drivers before the pre-race, and one driver has been statistically happy so far. They have beaten both the 81 and the 12 in back-to-back race weekends. So you can take a guess at home who that driver may be, but at the very least, though, both these drivers are very strong, and they will show these on these respective laps. The 81 will cross the line, and that will be pole position for the defending champion, 29.89, and as the other car of Dustin Hall comes off a 3 and 4 here, we'll see if this time counts. As he comes across travel, you'll see him in the far shot here, and across the line, the 12 will slot pole position, so we'll steal it away from Sosi, and we'll put in a blistering lap, a 29.79, about a 10th clear of the 81.
Another driver from Tombstone Motorsports getting ready to take the track. The Ghost Energy Chevrolet of Zach Apperson. Best finish ever was at a super speedway, Talladega Super Speedway, that is, back in season number 2. With the speeds going so high, this could work in his favor tonight, as he is very familiar with making critical decisions at high speeds. Coming out after him is the boss lady, Carmen Sienna, in the 96 machine. The Arrowhead, the team lead of Arrowhead Racing, and it'll be the first of her 4 drivers to take time tonight. She is the 4-time ABN Champ Car race winner, still looking for number 1 here in the HTL Series. She's been strong. She had a great showing at Daytona during the duels. Can she make her statement known here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway? When we talked to her pre-race, she was a little hesitant about it, but I think she may still have something. Her and the Arrowhead drivers may still have something yet to surprise us with.
Yeah, we'll have to see. They've been dominating the race week in the past 2 weeks here. Definitely strong team here at the very least. Couldn't win the second week, but definitely a team to watch out for. But Zachary Apperson, the Tombstone driver, is going to come across the line. Where will that number 4 slot itself? It's going to be P6, just ahead of Caleb Eichler with a 30.28. And as Carmen Sienna comes off a 3 and 4 here right now, she's going to make the mad dash for glory. And across the line she will put herself. It will be P6 with a 30.26, how to read the times right there, and that will be the 96 for the boss lady, and she will be at the moment P6. Next 2 cars coming out here is going to be, looks like, the 94 of Christopher Pendell. He'll be joining the crew in that Crystal Pepsi machine, not Crystal Cherry Pepsi machine. Crystal Pepsi was from the 80s, and the 20 of Hunter Peach.
Are you even old enough to remember Crystal Pepsi?
They had a relaunch of that about 2017, 2018, so it came back for a minute, but if you're talking about seeing it when I would by my own 2 eyes back in the day, no. No, I'm not that old.
Thank you for making me feel older than I am. You've achieved your job today. You've earned your paycheck, Evan.
Hey, I hope I at least earn my paycheck. Sometimes when you look at these things, you always feel very old when you hear statistics and stats about the very least. But at least still riding on board here with Christopher Pendell here, as he's coming off a 2 here, getting an all right run, getting as close to the wall as he dares to try to get that good run off the 3 and 4, get the turn in, not really hugging the apron as much as some other drivers have, running a bit of a middle groove here, coming out almost flirting with that wall there, does not kiss it. This lap will be valid, and across the line, it will be P5 for the 94s. Maybe some of these other drivers doesn't, and we'll be sitting in P5 as the 20 Hunter Peach comes across the line as well. We'll see where he can slot his Toyota. It's the line, it will be P4. So both those drivers had a good successful run there, and he'll be sitting P4 currently in row number 2.
The first privateer to take the track tonight, Jerry Brialt, the Woodchuck, a hard cider Ford Mustang GT, coming off track to have to take his first of 2. Brialt, another driver who was up there in the running last week at California Speedway, Auto Club Speedway, as it was known in its last iteration. Definitely could make some noise tonight, even though he's a privateer, even though he doesn't have any team backing. He might hook up with some of those other Ford Mustangs and see if he can make a run towards the front and maybe knock out his first win here in the HTL Cup Series. He is known as an ARCS A2 Cup Series champion, so he has experience in the car, he has experience winning. Can he put it all together here? Joshua Gaiman, the 33 machine for Valfreya Motorsports, with 3 Cup Series wins, now also coming off pit road to take his qualifying lap.
2 drivers that are very strong in the A2 Cup Series. Obviously, to kind of add to your point about Jeremy Brialt, it's a point where obviously if you're a privateer, you can always link up with the Fords, and with some possible chances of tandeming with how close it will be, we'll see if those link-ups work. As the 74 comes across the line, it's going to be P8, will slot in just behind Marcus Chafin. And as the next car, the 33, is going to come across the line, and Joshua Gaiman, he will slot in his machine, and it's going to be... looks like he had an invalidation somewhere because the lap has not counted. So 33 will not put down a time, and he will not count because, yeah, other cars are coming out now, Seth Wansing. So looks like it's in validation. We'll see here if he goes to 3 and 4 here, but I think this lap's not going to count that he put down.
Seth Wansing, we'll follow along Joshua Gaiman real quick, see if his next lap counts towards qualifying. As he crosses the start-finish line this time by, he will turn in a time of 29.864, and that actually will count. Joshua Gaiman put him in position number 2 now. Next one to come off pit road is 88 of Seth Wansing. Speaking of the ARC Series, he is a 2-time ARCS A2 Cup Series champion. So again, another driver who's familiar with winning, who knows what it takes to manage a car, manage drivers, and ultimately manage his way through. Can the NFG driver make a statement here tonight in that Napa Toyota Camry? Also on track is the rookie Ruby Estes in the 97 machine. Skipped last week, is now back on track for the first time tonight. Trying to make some noise with a Ascent Racing team, Ascent Racing driver Caleb Eichler falling in for Ruby Estes last week.
Yep, that 97 having a pretty scheme here. Obviously, a bit of a different paint scheme. Obviously, Seth Wansing just completed his lap. That would be P3 for the 88 machine. And the 97 of Estes will slot in P9. So both drivers there. Good runs. Estes obviously going to stay in the top 10 at the moment. Wansing just misses out on the front row by a couple tenths. It'll be Hall and Gaiman, still the fastest 2 on the track at the moment. Now the next 2 covers coming out. Callie Height in the number 8 machine. She'll be racing out here right now. And the 78, the privateer of Richard Odie, will also be heading out on the circuit as well. Both drivers have had interesting starts to the season. Obviously, Odie has been pretty strong to his own point. Same thing with Callie Height. Both have been pretty strong, but obviously not had the finishes they have wanted. But obviously, you're only as good as your previous race. This is a good chance to make up some ground here. So as the 8 comes across the line, we'll go to a nice aerial shot to see her lap around the circuit.
Callie Height, another driver who had to sit out last week. She will now be running around the track, I believe, for the second time in the 3 races we've had all season long. Callie Height currently being right now. Caitlin Height, I believe, is her first race out here on the field. We'll catch up with her later as Callie Height makes the turn out of turn 4 onto the front stretch, cutting the dog leg. She will turn a time of 30.126. That's correct. Currently provisionally score her in position number 11 as a 78 of Richard Odie now comes across the front. He will turn in a time of 30.013. That's good enough to put the 78 in the top 10 for now.
It's kind of interesting as I'm taking notes here. A lot of these cars are slotting, we're seeing qualifying slotting in around the top 10 right now. You usually see runs, usually situations where sometimes the track will evolve a bit, as this is with a long shot qualifying like this. You'll see the track evolve, conditions change, and drivers may qualify in certain ranges no matter how fast they go. And this is kind of also the benefit with the order being the reverse of last week's results. Sometimes a driver that may be quite strong goes earlier and may take advantage of the situation around. But the next 2 cars coming out on the track at the moment, moment, it's going to be the 91 of Austin Mongold. Always wants his Dr. Pepper, as you can see in the chat. And the 71 machine will be the other car heading out on the circuit right now of Lily Pelletier Sharp for, I like the team name, but both of them currently out on the track right now.
That is, she is the driver for Stepping Stone Motorsports. Will be the first one to take qualifying as she crosses the start-finish line. Of course, DJ Trout, the 93 machine, one of the 3 Premier Racing Club drivers, the second Premier Racing Club driver to take qualifying this time around. Trout will cross the line and put Trout right now provisionally in position number 8 with 29.982. Lily Pelletier Sharp coming around turn number 4 to collect her qualifying slip. Through the dogleg she goes. She will not elect to cut the dogleg. Interesting move, and it will reward her with a time of 30.384. Not the qualifying time she hoped to have, but good enough to get her on track.
Yeah, that is interesting to say the least. Obviously, it doesn't sound like it counted because I'm not seeing her on my timing and scoring here. So
it did not count, actually. She was, for some reason, she was black flagged during the qualifying run.
Okay, so her lap will not count. And I'm hearing it on race control right now, radio chatter. It was a wall hit, so it looks like we'll take a quick look here to see what happened coming out of the wall out of 1 and 2, and no hit there. We'll see if she has any scrapes here coming through 3 and 4, running in the middle groove again. We saw through 1 and 2. She wanted to get on the throttle as early as she dared, and no hit. So odd. Control is saying she hit that wall at 1 and 2, or hit it somewhere that invalidated the lap. So that lap will not count. She will be right now P last, obviously depending on how things play out. But on the track, speaking of what you were talking about a minute ago, Joe, the other Height is back. Caitlin Height is currently out on the circuit right now. She is doing a lap along now with Austin Mongold in the 91. Obviously, this is the first race start of the season for the regular season champion last season, driving for a new team in Stepping Stone. So as she comes down, cuts the dog leg here, it's going to be a lap that will put her P4. So like there was no rust to begin with, she'll slot herself right now in the second row. Austin Mongold up next, going to come across the line in his number 91 Ascent Racing machine. And as he slots the machine in the position, it will be P15, just ahead of Jeremy Braille, and almost basically in a dead heat on time, and he'll be P15 at the moment.
Another Ascent Racing driver out to take a qualifying lap, the 99 of Yair Rodriguez. He will fill in for Elias Flores, who would normally be in the 99 seat. No stranger to HTL out here. As you see him warming up the tires going down the backstretch, he will take the reins for the Ascent Racing team tonight. Be one of 4 drivers on that team, including rookies Ruby Estes and Austin Mongol, who you just saw take the qualifying lap just a moment ago. Also now on the track for qualifying, I believe it's going to be the 23 of Tommy Withers, who will be taking the qualifying time next.
I think it may be the 19 of Bobby Blowers. I'm seeing a 19 on my screen, and I think
Yep, you're correct.
So it is Bobby Blowers and Yair Rodriguez. Obviously, love that shot of Yair's helmet there. It was a pretty cool design. Love seeing kind of created helmets inside the cockpit, even though it's a bit hard to see, unlike in the open wheel circuit. But as a 99, who was the fastest in practice, is going to come, cut the dogleg. Can they be the fastest in qualifying? They will not, getting themselves on the front row with a 29.854, but just missing out on bumping off Dustin Hall for pole position, as Bobby Blowers, running a kind of throwback to Carl Edwards here at the very least, comes across the line. It'll be P2, so Yair cannot celebrate for too long on the front row. Bobby Blowers will bump him off with an even closer time, but still no one can touch Dustin Hall at the moment.
Tommy Withers, a Mobil 1 machine, now coming off pit road to take his qualifying time on the field. The 23 driver in the group as well will now come off the backstretch and start to take his qualifying time on the field. The NFG Motorsports Toyota Camry on track to take a good run. His best finish was 5th at Chicagoland, so not a terribly indifferent track, but I do believe the weather conditions will add a new challenge for him in this field. Also coming off track, I believe, is Lilac Zier, the Stepping Stone Motorsports driver, will also be taking qualifying this time in the 50.
Worth noting, Tommy Withers won the A-Squared Las Vegas race last season. Obviously, different series in a next-gen car, though, so he knows how to win at these tracks. And obviously, with a lot of other A-Squared drivers in this field, could bode well for him at the very least. Do also want to take a quick note as we watch this lap here. If you saw on the graphic, Pelletier Sharp's lap was disqualified because of a commitment cone violation where she hit the cone on the exit of her lap. So that is why her lap didn't count. But as Tommy Withers, the driver that just set the time, will not have a good lap, there will be P22. Looks like he wasn't confident in his run, and that could hurt him, but obviously you can make your time up in the race. And as Lilac Zier comes across the line as well, it is going to be a 30.079, which will be P14 for the number 50 machine.
Gary Donaldson, the Under Armour car, now coming off pit road, one of the 4 Tombstone drivers who is taking qualifying time. His best finish was second at, again, another driver who did great at a intermediate track, Martinsville, back in season number 2. So we'll see how this Tombstone, if he can put the Tombstone on the rest of the field. The next one to come out of pit road, I believe, is also going to be, one of the rookies and driver of the second American Airlines car out here, the 31 machine of DeMonte Dotson, the Valfrea driver. Last week, he was up in the mix as well, having a great run as a rookie at Auto Club Speedway, trying to make the win. He's got an opportunity tonight to avenge himself, to let the field know, hey, that wasn't a fluke. I am exactly that driver, and I am somebody that you want to fear tonight.
Yeah, the 31 machine, obviously, even though is a rookie, it seems like we're not seeing much of the rookie jitters from that 31 machine. We'll obviously see if they can keep that fork going tonight. But as a 22 is coming off of turn 4 here, we got a nice little onboard shot here with the 22, runs some good speed, cuts the dog leg, and it's going to be a lap as he clipped the wall there at the very end there. And I'm not seeing it for a second here. I'm probably going blind. Now we see it. It's going to be P16 for the driver in question as DeMonte Dotson comes across the line next as well in the 31 machine. It is going to be P15. So both relatively similar laps there for both drivers in their duo, separated by a Ruby Estes.
William Britton will come off the line now in his Ford Mustang to take one of his 2 qualifying laps on the field. Right behind him is going, let's follow along with that driver right now. Let's follow along as you see him having to deal with the current weather conditions out here. That wind is absolutely messing with all these cars out here, creating a lot of problems for each of these drivers as they try to figure out how they're going to manage this track and manage a car underneath them. Willie Frazier, the Arrowhead driver, also the next one to come down out of pit road and take a qualifying lap.
William Britton right there, we saw a bit of his fire suit there at the very least. Looked like he's trying to blend in with a guerrilla war operation out in the forest there. But very odd at the very least there. Obviously, we know what it was, but maybe trying to keep it a little bit friendly for the people around here, trying to keep it a little PG. But as William Britton is coming around here out of 3 and 4, and he does hit the wall there. That is going to be an invalidation. He will join Pelletier Sharp in the invalidation club, and that lap will not count. And as we move to the other car on behind here of Lily Frazier, as she, the rookie, for Arrowhead, the second of 4 out on the track, come across the line, and it will be P20 for the 11 machine, just behind Callie Height, just ahead of Austin Mongold. Looks like the next car coming out on the track is going to be another Arrowhead race machine, the 18 of Shad Swatsworth.
3-time HTL Cup Series runner-up, 3-time winner on the series, Interstate Batteries Toyota Camry of Shad Swatsworth will make his way to the backstretch, and he will start his qualifying run. Following him is going to be the 27 of Selena Thompson. The driver of the Valfrea Motorsports Chevrolet Camaro, also in the American Airlines livery out there. She's going to try to make something fly out here as Shad Swatsworth flies past the line for his first and one and only qualifying lap.
Yeah, obviously this is the pressure of having 1 lap. Usually in the Cup Series, you have 2 attempts at a lap at certain tracks, only 1 attempt, and it's really all or nothing. Do you play it conservative to get yourself a good spot, or do you go all out for pole position? Different drivers have different philosophies. Let's see how this plays out for the 18er. Obviously going very fast here, as he is paid to do, as he comes and cuts the dog leg. Can he get that Arrowhead machine, be the one in the top 10? Cross the line, and it's going to be a good enough run to get him exactly P10. So at the moment, sitting P10, but I think Selena Thompson in the Menards machine that was mowing the grass earlier in warm-up comes across the line. It is going to be P14 for the 27, still in the top 15. but not going to crack the top 10 is going to be Shad Saltzworth, sitting nice in the top 10. So as the next two cars come out, it's going to be the 57 of Bianca Constantinou, and I think the other car is going to be the 1 machine of Kevin Gibney Jr.
The final stepping stone driver coming off pit road to take her qualifying lap, and one of our international entrants as well. Constantinou will come through turns 3 and 4 this time by and start making her way around the track. Constantinou, no surprises that she's one of the drivers to beat here. 4 Cup Series wins in 5 seasons so far. She's definitely a driver you have to watch, and always a challenger to lead the race. The other driver right now coming off pit road to be the one of Kevin Gibney Jr. He just passed the start-finish line and going to come down the backstretch to see what he can do in that number 1 machine. The second to final Valfreya Motorsports driver. 5 cars in that team. Kevin Gibney Jr. only has 1 Cup Series win back in Richmond in Season 2.
Yep, right there. You can see as the cars come across the line there, you can see a good run for that car in question. Just crossed the line. Now as Gibney is going to come across the line as well. Can they jump themselves into the top 10? Gibney going to come across the line. It's going to be P21 for Kevin Gibney and P11 for Bianca Constantinou. So neither driver, both actually kind of rivaling each other, both getting second digit with a 1. Both can't crack into the 10 and 20 respectively for either driver. We're going to move on next to the boss of Tombstone, Blake Henderson, as he's going to come out in his Ryan Blaney-inspired fire suit, as he will head out onto the track running a WWE 2K24 sponsored machine here. And if my eye catches me, looks like the Dead Man is running a Dead Man livery.
The Undertaker on the hood of that Ford Mustang GT. Blake Henderson, he has adopted the moniker of the Dead Man and is looking to try to make some people famous here as he makes his qualifying lap, first of 2, the boss of Tombstone Motorsports. Entertainingly enough, even though we've given him the moniker of the Dead Man, the Undertaker, Blake Henderson, the team name did not come from the wrestling-inspired situation. No, actually, it came from the movie and real-life place, Tombstone, Arizona, which is a very entertaining fact. So we misquoted him. We misquoted that entire thing, but he's still embracing it. You got to give him credit for living the meme.
Yeah, indeed, embracing the meme, loves the nickname, and he will drive that car quite well, maybe even give him a few extra bits of horsepower with the confidence. He'll be P16 for the 25, and the other driver, Eli Sasek, the other Ascent, the last Ascent racing machine to come across the line here, and he will slot it inside P14. So we're seeing a bit of a rut here for a lot of these drivers in this qualifying run here. Like I was talking a bit earlier with stints, you see this thing where the track maybe changes just a bit, and we're seeing kind of a rut where some of these drivers are getting in that 10 to 20 range, which is nothing to sneeze at. That's still a good qualifying shot. You're in the top half of the field, but it always makes you wonder, is there any condition, any driver that can break out and get on that pole position? Right now, though, Josh Arnold is looking to answer that question as he will escape the pit lane next.
Josh Arnold, but coming out before him is the 44 of John Hagan, the man who sat on pole at Daytona, unable to catch the magic again last week at Auto Club Speedway. He's going to come out for his first of 2 laps as we follow along with him inside the car. Another Arrowhead driver, the third of 4. We're going to try to take the field tonight and see if he can get back in pole position at another track that promises to be fast, to be quick, and promises to have a lot of action on the field. The number 2 also coming up on track as well, Josh Arnold, the driver for the Coast to Coast Racing Team. I believe the first one of his team coming out in the Ford Mustang GT. His best finish, 4th in Kentucky. So he knows how these tracks like this work. The only challenge is, can he manage the weather that's troubling all the drivers tonight?
He's definitely a driver at the very least. Josh Arnold still John Hagan get the front row, so he stepped up to the challenge there. Could not bump off Dustin Hall. Can Arnold come across the line and challenge it? He cannot. One of the slowest laps we've seen here tonight, which is a bit of a shame. P32, he will slot himself, and that's going to be a big task he'll have to climb himself out of. But should be worth noting, the gap between Hall and Arnold is only about half a second, so even then, it just shows you how close this field truly is. As we move on nextly, we got Dean Clevitt, the Canadian, coming out of the pit lane, and they'll be flanked by the 29 of Alfred Denny. So it'll be the next 2 cars to join, and we are running out of cars quickly here. Next for this, we'll only have 1 more car to qualify, I believe.
I believe you are correct. Dean Clavitt, the number 90 snap-on machine, coming out to take his one lap. The final driver from Premier Racing Club to come out onto the track and get his qualifying time in. Following him closely, I believe, is going to be the well, let's just follow along with the 90 Dean Clavitt. Let's just do that. Easy on all of us as he comes down into turns 3 and 4, riding that wall as close as he can. He's going to ride the wall high. Now makes a sharp dive left into the onto the start finish line through the dog leg. He will turn in a time of 30.218 for Clavitt. That leaves, and with now Alfred Denny, the 29 machine, coming on off of pit road as well, coming through turns 3 and 4 onto the front. The Nuka-Cola machine will turn in a time of 29.961. That's going to put him up in the top 10 as well, with only one driver left to go.
Because then note we have two different video game inspired sponsors at the very least. Obviously Carmen and Sienna running something similar to Cyberpunk, and obviously they're the new Cola machine in that car in question. So two different video game franchises in two different settings of post-apocalyptic worlds, but at the very least both pretty cars nonetheless. And that will move us on nicely to the last car in line. Pacey Wygant, the 00, the man that makes Auto Club his home. Obviously has the fastest time at Auto Club and won last week at Auto Club and won the trucks there. Very strong at Auto Club. Obviously though, we're at Las Vegas, so we'll see if he can keep his winning ways going here. So he will come across the line here. Has to beat a 29.78 if he wants to get pole position, and will have to beat a 29.82 if he wants to be on the front row. So very big numbers he will have to challenge in his pink 00 machine.
We'll have some breaking news for you in just a moment as the 00 makes his way down. Brown turns 3 and 4, comes off the turn. Is he going to cut the dog leg like everybody else? Yes, he is going to cut the dog leg, and he will turn in a time 29.848, good enough for position number 4. That will complete qualifying. Just getting this note in my ear, the 44 of John Hagan will be taking an end-of-line penalty, so that 44 will not take position number 2 when we start. He will be forced to drop to the end of the longest line. Two drivers did not qualify, the 78 and 71.
Yeah, so the 270 cars will not, two's number in the brackets of 70, I should say, did not end up putting times down. And obviously Dustin Hall, our pole winner. John Hagan had to serve a penalty last week, and that didn't deter him. So I don't think he's going to be all too bothered starting at the tall end of the longest line. But obviously, though, still hurts to have. But pole winner, Dustin Hall, as we are going to get ready for warm-up here, going to get this last little chance for these drivers to get those last little jitters out before we end up going racing.
One more time to get the jitters out of the car, shake out all the demons, excise the gremlins, and get it going before we go green flag racing for 145 laps around the mile and a half here in Sin City. We'll go ahead and take you through the starting order in just a few moments. But since we are here gambling tonight, I gotta ask you, Kevin, who are you putting your chips down on tonight?
Oh, that's a good question. So, again, a very strong field here, a lot of strong drivers. Obviously, John Hagan, you could say he was a favorite, but obviously starting from the back, I don't know if that's going to hurt him or motivate him. If I had to throw down a quick name or two, you know what? I may be a bit crazy. I'm going to go Yahir Rodriguez. I think they have shown some good pace. I think they're going to put all the pieces together tonight and get that elusive win they're looking for. And if I had to throw another name down, let's go again in a realm of first here with drivers needing to get that metaphorical monkey off the back. Let's go with the 12 of Dustin Hall. Obviously have 7 wins, looking for the first win this season and give themselves a little bit of reprieve from the rest of the calendar here before the playoffs start. So let's go Yahir and Dustin Hall as my 2 picks to watch out for this race.
And I have been clicking the chips all night long. Let me go ahead and put down a couple bets here for you on the wheel as well. First bet is going to go on the 00 of Pacey Wygant. Pacey had great pace all night long at Auto Club Speedway last week. An incident ruined, it was no fault of his own, ruined his evening and his chance at going back-to-back winning there. As a defending champion, I think he's got a lot of noise to make, and he's got a great opportunity to do it tonight. So he's got a great opportunity to win, and it would not surprise me if my bet on 00 pays off at the end of the night. The other driver I'm putting on is 3 Red. That's right. Caitlin Hype back in Cup action tonight, but showing no signs of losing any pace, no ring rust for her as well. I think she's going to be one of the drivers you're going to have to watch out for. She knows how to win. She knows what it takes to work around the speedway. And with a little motivation and a little luck, the number 3 red may be the winning number.
It's a shame we don't have a triple-digit car here, because that would have been an easy call out at the very least, or maybe a 77 machine. Actually, do we have a 77 machine?
I believe we have a 77 machine.
We do have a 77. Actually, we do not have a 77 machine. It's the 71 of the Stepping Stone, the 78 of Odie. So we do have a little bit of a split there in the 74 of B-Tron. So yeah, no, technically 77. So no all eyes on the 7s. Obviously, a lot of different cars have 7s in their numbers, though. So obviously, you could also keep an eye on those machines as well, like 17. 71, 74, 78, like we were going over. But able to get some nice aerial shots here. Obviously, kind of pulled behind the curtain for a second here, as Kristina obviously has been to this track in real life, knows how to get those good angles and those good shots. She could probably, if she was on the broadcast, be able to point out what a lot of these buildings are in and around the track and find those good angles. As you can see her shaking the cam right here to confirm my statement there. But yeah, obviously, she's been here before, knows all the ins and outs. Could definitely, as we'll see here, kind of zoom in through the infield here and give us definitely the good angles to play out with.
Chrissy Ryan knows this track very well. She was telling us before the race, she actually competed at this track as one of the screen to speed drivers a couple of years ago, and finished 4th in that competition. So we are in the very good, very capable, and very competent hands of Kristina Ryan, who's doing all these great camera angles for us and is going to bring us a lot of fun racing for 145 laps. We're in hands here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, just to add to that, those garages right there is where she ended up racing in that the speed competition. So right there, obviously, is the area right there. She was racing in with all the other competitors. I know a few other competitors obviously raced throughout the ABN family networks here, but obviously she ended up having a good finish there, got P4, so she was definitely happy with that performance. Definitely screamed and showed a lot of speed to get that car up in a good position. But as we zoom in on those garages, we have just about 20 seconds to go here in warm-up. Obviously, again, get those last little jitters out. Some drivers are going to practice their pit lane entry and exit, maybe even get a quick drink or use the bathroom before we have 145 laps before we see the race happen here. So as we're going to get ready for warm-up to end and get ready for the race, let's take a quick look at the mountains.
Beautiful foothills out here in the Las Vegas desert. So much to do in Vegas. Really one of my favorite cities, not just for the gambling, not just for the opulence and weirdness of it. It's a beautiful city, all in all, very historic city, and so much to do that's not on the Strip. You can't go wrong with a Las Vegas vacation. But enough about my affinity for Vegas. Let's go ahead and take you through tonight's starting order here in the HTL Cup Series Round 3 at Las Vegas, live on ABN. So row number 1 will belong to the 12 of Dustin Hall. John Hagan qualified second, but he will drop to the end of the longest line, along with Caleb Eichler, Willie Peltier Sharp, Lilac Zier, and Gary Donaldson, all going to go, and Selena Thompson, all going to go to the end of the longest line. Bobby Blowers qualified third, Casey Wygen qualified fourth, and I believe they will stay in their positions. Jair Rodriguez will start position number 5, and outside of him, the 33 of Joshua Gavin starts position number 6. Seth Wansing, the Napa Toyota Camry, starts position number 7. Outside of him, Caitlin Height, with her first HTL Cup Series start, will start position number 8. Josh Susie, the 81 machine, the very hard to miss 81 machine, will start position number 9. And starting on the outside of row number 5 is Matthew Boone. Kevin?
So moving on further down the field, we got Hunter Peach and Chad Swatsworth in row number 6. Row number 7 will then slot in nicely with Constantinu Algetti. Zachary Meredith and DJ Trout will make up row number 8. Row number 9, as you see cars drop back, seems a little Camry, but the graphic won't. Eli Sassick and Richard Odie will make up row number 9. Row 10 will be Sienna Thompson and Blake Henderson. 10 rows here. Christopher Pendell and Lilac Zier will be in row number 11. Row number 12 will be DeMonte Dotson and Ruby Estes. Row 13, Gary Donaldson and Kevin Gibney Jr. will be in row number 13. Marcus Chapin and Callie Height in row number 14. Lily Frazier and Austin Mongold will make up the first 15 rows. As we break it up to the final half here, Jeremy Breaux, Dean Clavitt, will be row number 16. Carmen, Sienna, and Zachary Averson will be row number 17. With Josh Arnold, Caleb Eichler in row 18. Finishing it off, Tommy Withers and William Britton in row 19. And now finishing it off, Lily Pelletier-Sharp will be the last car in P20, row 20 and P39. But we'll have some friends join her. Some of these cars will get dropbacks here as the tail end of this line.
Again, 7 cars will be dropped to the very tail end of the field. Caleb Eicher, Lily Pelletier-Sharp, Larry Zier, Gary Donaldson, William Britton, Selena Thompson, John Hagan will all drop to the end of the field as we go one more lap. Final check of the weather before we get going here. Look at the wind. The wind we are now getting gusts out of the southwest, 39, 40 miles per hour. Those hot winds are just skating across the desert, and that is going to make these drivers a lot more nervous. Again, it's going to be going straight into the wind in turns 1 and 2, going to be flying on the back end at 3 and 4. 3 stages tonight, breaks at lap 35 and 75. 5 sets of tires in addition to the ones they have on now. Look for a fuel run between 34 and 37 laps, these 12-gallon fuel cells, and they are going to have to woe down quite a bit, especially with the wind driving them through turns 3 and 4 as they have a 50-mile-per-hour pit lane speed to slow down to.
Yep, again, gonna have to tiptoe 3 and 4, especially on cold tires, especially on the situation. Let's hope they can keep it clean through lap number 1 here and make sure they take those notes that you can't win it on the first lap, but you can definitely lose it. So as you see right here, as they get ready, gonna drive it on around, some of those drivers warming up those tires. When we get to the restart zone, it's gonna be Hall and Wygent side by side. Control gonna be on Barney the flagman here. And I think we're gonna see some great racing here tonight, as we are gonna get ready as the pace car is about to take the lonesome trip down pit lane.
Shout out to Barney the flagman as we get ready to go. Green flag racing. The field in command of Dustin Hall, who will wait for the green flag to come out. Let's see how we get through it. Pace car makes that large left turn down pit road, and we are getting ready to go green flag racing here in Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Green flag flies, and we are started one of 145 with the HTL Cup Series. Up front, no changes so far. The 12, the 00 fighting side by side. Behind them, a whole hornet's nest of drivers who have definitely making some position changes amongst them. Dustin Hall, Pacey Wygent fighting tooth and nail for the lead. Wygent now has the advantage high, but Dustin Hall thinks he can make it work low, especially with the headwind coming into him. Behind the Bobby Blowers moves up to position number 3, and don't look now, but a whole mess of cars behind them all fighting for position.
Makes me wonder how passing is going to be here as we hear some drivers tandeming. Could be a little bit here as drivers will basically be so close to each other with these wind conditions that could play a factor. You see one car leaving the pit lane there, had to take a penalty, and they will escape out and go one down. I see another one pull out on the track right now. Could play a bit of a factor here. It's the 71, Lily Pelletier-Sharp. We got a nice onboard shot from her, just showing you this is definitely a scary sight to be in. When you're escaping the pit lane, you have a whole field of cars just gunning you down right now as we watch her rear shot here. Still very close to pull up front. It's going to be Wygent, I think, leading that lap by a hair. Question is, what line will Sharp take? And whoever can get ahead here in the first position will have the ability to dictate what lane Sharp may take.
That was the 78 of Richard Odie, forced to start off pit road. He will start one lap down, and Pelletier-Sharp could join him in the one-lap club down as you now see the leaders catching up to her. Wygent Hall, no changes there. They are still battling back and forth, but look who's now moved up to position number 3, Yair Rodriguez. Now trying to figure out who he wants to go drafting with, who he wants to break up the tandem with. Joshua Gaiman doesn't want to let him get by. Blowers now fighting off a charging Caitlin Height.
They're going to give a little shove to the 99 machine. Not too hard. Again, don't want to hit on the corner panel. Could send the car into a very, very, very bad spin. you can see right there, side-by-side game, they're going to make a move. And look at Bobby Blowers trying to rip it on the high side. Kelly is not going to take any prisoners here. She wants to try to take that low. Almost took it 3 wide. These drivers are fighting like it's the last 5 laps, but it's only been the first 5 laps as trying to take advantage here before the run kind of cools down here. We ride on board here with Bobby Blowers hanging the corner panel here at 99. And up front, you can see right there, Hall gets in the Wyjet just a bit. Gets a little loose. That's going to give Wyjet the run. Look at them both split. The 12 of Dustin Hall. One mistake sends him back 5 spots.
Dustin Hall caught the apron coming off of turn number 2, got this car a little bit loose, and that is going to force him back through the field. He will lose 4 positions. As a result, gets stuck in position number 5 behind or in front of the 88 of Joshua Gaiman and the 28 of Matthew Boone. So big critical mistake for Hall will drop him out of the lead and give Pacey Wyjet the sole ownership of position number 1.
Yeah, indeed, Wyjet obviously was able to hold it. I thought at the very least you could see a wall scrap there. Now you can see Sharp, though she's now going to officially go 1 down. She'll join the 1 down crew at the very least, but she's currently trying to fight to stay in the lead lap, because if she can obviously stay ahead when a caution comes out, she doesn't have to go to the tail on the longest line and take a lap penalty there and get back on the lap that way. But at the very least, though, it's going to be very hard with cars going around. This is a good way to possibly make enemies if you make yourself very fightful here, make it hard to pass. You definitely send a message to the field that, hey, you got to be aggressive to get around that 71 machine. Right now, she's in the wall, though, scraping it hard. That's going to be more spots lost for the 71 machine.
Back up front, it is still battling tooth and nail like a hornet's nest been kicked. All these drivers going every which way. Yahir Rodriguez filling in for the Ascent Racing team. He's going to hold on to position number 2 as now the 19 of Blowers gets a little loose. The 12 of Dustin Hall having a hard time getting through the wall of air in turns 1 and 2. He's going to get sucker hold. It's only a matter of time before he stops going down. Oh, the 12 makes contact with the 81. And Dustin Hall just having all kinds of problems dealing with the high winds here in Vegas.
It's a sketchy. We saw 3 and 4 was going to be very tight. You saw it right there. Almost ended up door slamming the 81 Associate, but luckily they all keep going in the right direction. But again, Hall, our pole sitter, going the wrong way quickly. You can see from this nice aerial shot, it's getting pretty racy here in this mid-pack here. You can see up front, Pacey Wyjet got a lot of breathing room, and then behind this like top 12, like 2 to 12 pack we're watching, it's single file. So this is the raciest part of the track. This is also the most stressful. Kind of glad I traded in the fire suit sometimes for a nice broadcasting gig, because this is always a bit stressful to watch. As we ride on here with Sosi, who's currently sitting in P4 at the moment, trying to get a good run on Yahir Rodriguez in 3rd, as Yahir himself is trying to get around Bobby Blowers.
Yahir and Blowers side by side. The more driving they do side by side, it benefits one man and one man alone. That's Pacey Wyjet up front. So he definitely is hoping to see more of those drivers behind him go side by side, continue to fight amongst themselves, so he can get a great run out on the rest of the field. Blowers, though, now starting to line everybody up. Yahir Rodriguez fighting a little bit less. Joshua Susi, and that very hard to miss Sanrio Hello Kitty machine. He is still going to run high. He's got some help from Matthew Boone and company up there to try to make a run up front.
And we'll see if Yahir can try to clear Sosi. Cannot get the job done. Sosi going to get the run. And Matthew Boone, haven't said much about him right now. One of the bigger movers in this field. Up 5 spots along with Joshua Sosi. Obviously not the biggest. That's Christopher Pendle. Up 9 as Sosi slides in right there to try to get the slipstream back off the 99 machine. Then we ride on board the 99 machine. Will firmly take 3rd from that pink Hello Kitty machine. But obviously that's not going to keep the 81 at bay for long. That 81 has something to say about it, but Matthew Boone may put the challenge on 81 first before the 81 can challenge the 99.
Great moving by Chris Pendle. You mentioned just a moment ago the Wild Cherry Pepsi machine coming up from position 21, now in 12th position, getting a lot of help from the draft and other drivers. We didn't talk about this a lot in the pre-race show, but drafting is going to be critically important at this race, especially when you have high winds affecting you in each turn. The more you can have, the more cars you can have in that wind tunnel, the bigger hole you can punch through the air, and the better aerodynamics you get to start moving up this race. You're not going to be able to do it by yourself. The best you can do is get a little bit of help and start moving that way, as now the 00 Pacey Wyjet wishes he had a little more help.
Yeah, I saw a puff of smoke there, but I think it may have just been the way of the sun's kind of shining off here. Nothing obviously came up on the indicators. We stay all green here as we now see Blowers, driver again, strong in the truck series last season. Definitely showing some strength here in his super sub role here. Definitely knows how to get that 19 going, and obviously maybe taking out some feelers here for other teams, saying, hey, if you need me, you can find me. I will definitely drive your car. Kind of like, to use an F1 analogy, Super Hulk in the past couple of years, finding an opportunity to get a good run, but holding on P2. And then you see Seth Wanzing right now. He's trying to get towards the front here. Bloom going to cut him off, and now Yahir and Seth are going to fight heading off into one.
Lots of fighting still left to be done. Wygen in first, Flowers second. Matthew Boone has now worked his way up to position number 3 from position number 10. And Yair Rodriguez trying to fight off a charging Seth Wansig in turns 3 and 4. High side still has a lot of momentum. A lot of drivers electing to use that high side. Tires and other wear be damned. They're going to go for it. They're going to see how fast they can run up highs. Now Wansing looks for an opening, tries to go down low. Nobody there. Rodriguez throwing an incredible block to keep everybody good. They keep moving the right way. No look now, though. Chance Wadsworth trying to make some noise for Arrowhead.
Yeah, we'll see if Swansford can make that happen. He's going to see the 99 trying to make a move back on Blowers. But as we're coming about next time by, we're going to be halfway to go in the stage. Remember, stage ends at 35. And keep this in mind, Fuel Tank runs about 34, 37 laps. And it makes you wonder, with these drivers going flat out to a degree, are any of them saving? Because look at Wygen. He's been leading ever since he got around Dustin Hall. And he's got no one really in front of him at the moment to save some fuel. So we'll see if that's going to raise some questions. So you may have to try to back down the field here. But as I say that, you can see a good run to the lead here. But we'll ride on board here with Caitlin Height, as she's sitting in P10 at the moment, just kind of picking lanes, choosing spots to find a run for that FedEx machine to get a good run on.
In front of her, a driver we haven't talked a whole lot about tonight, Hunter Beach, the NFG Motorsports driver, slowly working his way up through the field. Started this race around position number 11. He's now up to position number 8. And it looks like he's just having a hard time finding some draft partners, finding some people he wants to go with into the turns and try to fight this wind off. Nobody wants to give him help, so he's going to make it himself, as Caitlin Height will get around him last time by. Meanwhile, in the Hornet's Nest up front, the 12 machine shoving the 18 up, going up there, and they're starting to get a little racy up there.
Yeah, racing hard here. Stage points can matter and can be definitely the break between possibly at the end of the season or at least the end of the playoffs to what gets you in and gets you out if you don't end up getting a win here. So the fight is on. Wanzing going to run it around the high side here. Also going to get a good run on Boone here. Boone trying to cut his own draft. Not going to get done. Now Wanzing going to go low here. So it's the have and have not situation. One car jumps high, one car jumps low, and soon you're the one on top of the mountain. Other times you're the one with egg on the face. And right now Wanzing will hold fourth. But again, if you make drastic moves, drastic cuts, it's going to make drivers a little bit antsy and a little bit agitated. You don't want an angry driver sitting behind you, especially these tight quarter situations.
The 28 of Matthew Boone moving up very well as well. The Tombstone Motorsports driver, the highest of the Tombstone drivers right now, trying to figure out where he wants to go, how he can get around the 18 of Chad Swatsworth. Nowhere to go for him, so he'll just run in the draft, as now a familiar face starting to work its way up to the field. Dustin Hall just took up position number 6 away from Matthew Boone. Now both of them are looking to try to get around this track and catch up to the 18 of Swatsworth.
The driver really worked his way up to the field as well. The other Arrowhead teammate, the one we're watching right now, Chad Swatsworth. John Hagan up to P20 at the moment. Remember, started P39, P37, give or take, depending on where they spotted him at the start of the race. But right now, in that Luigi-inspired helmet, he is, again, using this pedally to motivate him to drive through the field here. And right there, you can see knocking on the door at P19, DJ Trout, and then a little battle there between the Newt Cole machine of Alfred Denny and DeMonte Dotson. Right there fighting hard as well. But cutting back to the front here, we had a lead change while it cut back, so sorry about that. It is going to be Yahir Rodriguez taking the lead from Wygen. Now I wonder if Wygen is going to try to save a little bit of fuel here, using the 99 as a bit of a draft help.
Third lead change of the night, Yahir Rodriguez getting in front of Pacey Wygen. You're right, that might be a strategy move. That might be I don't want to lead, I want to conserve a little bit, make sure I can get all the way through this race up front. So Wygen may actually be doing a little strategy move here, as it looks like we had some problems with the 27 of Selena Thompson. She might have had another issue going through the front apron.
She got hooked on the side there of that car in question. That was Lilac's ear, if I'm not mistaken, for Stepping Stone. And she ended up hitting that wall hard. You can see that right front is not turned. That thing is locked up. I don't know 100% if that is going to be fixable. We'll have to see here if it can or can't be, but definitely that car is going to be wounded for the rest of the race. And she is now officially gone one down here. She'll join the one down crew. Actually, she was one down a minute ago. Now she'll be two down. we'll see if she ends up continuing on, as now we'll ride on board with Seth Watson.
Alina Thompson officially on pit road right now, trying to get that car fixed, doing whatever they can to get it back in racing condition. The Valfreya Motorsports driver not going to be happy about that one, and that we'll see if that boils over into a much bigger issue as we continue driving. Up front, little change as we see all the kinds of strategies being played out on the field. It will be Pacey Wygent behind Yair Rodriguez by Blowers in third, Dustin Hall in fourth, and Seth Wansing, who's moved up to position number 5, starting position number 7. So already a great night for Wansing. All he's got to do is keep moving forward to make it better.
Yeah, and you can see right there, Dustin Hall obviously had that little kerfuffle with Pacey Wygent on lap 5, 6-ish, give or take, where they almost had to come into blows, and that caused Hall to lose a couple spots. He's finally rebounded, and it finally looks like we've hit kind of the big calmness at the very least. And right now I'm hearing a bit of frustration, at least a little bit further back here in some of the radio comms here. Damon a little bit not frustrated with some of these conditions, as the tight conditions around the high side, especially 3 and 4, is causing some of these cars to get very tight, and in turn is causing more issues than it's worth. So right now, again, tempers are beginning to rise a little bit as some drivers racing hard here, causing fury to happen. Obviously, these drivers have to keep a cool, calm head, because there's still many laps remaining here, and if you lose your head, you may end up losing this race.
Side-by-side racing going on around the 94 of Chris Pendell and the 28 of Matthew Boone. They are side-by-side, and behind them, looking to strike, looking to take one of these guys from 6 feet below is the Undertaker himself, the dead man, Blake Henderson, the Tombstone driver, trying to hold off Eli Sassick company, as it looks like everyone now is calmed down. Everyone now is content to run where they're at, knowing that there's not a whole lot of laps left in the stage. They're just going to hold it, conserve, and see what they can do in stage number 2.
Gotta be careful here. You don't want to end up damaging the car. Obviously, we saw with Sienna Thompson, that could be not race over. She's still continuing on, but still on pit lane with a long repair clock. And you don't want to have that happen for the end of stage number 1 if you can help it. Now riding more here with Dustin Hall, trying to get a run here. Thinks the high side is the way to go. Going to cut back to the middle groove here. Not going to get the good run here, but try to set up for something in back in 1 and 2. As they come across the line this time by, we are going to have 7 laps to go in the stage here, so we'll see if any late changes can happen here. And more importantly, can Matthew Boone hold on to the last stage point in the top 10?
Yeah, Rodriguez under fire again from Pacey Wygent. He's got some help on the high side. Wygent, Flowers, and Dustin Hall all believe the high side may be the way to go as Wygent crosses over. Looks like almost door contact between Wygent and Rodriguez. Side by side, it opens up the door for Blowers and Hall to start catching up, start making some moves. I think Pacey Wygent's done conserving. Now he wants to get back to leading a lap, and he's going to get some help to do it from Blowers.
Blowers going to help the 0-0 here, but yeah, here not going to go away on that high side. Going to get the run off and will keep the spot. Now the question is, Wygent kind of failed the push Blowers gave. Looks like he'll gear back up. Blowers going to stay in tow here, try to push that 0-0 back clear, or at least ride behind and see what happens. But it looks like the 19's maybe reevaluating his options here.
A lot of strategy in play right now, but a lot of it got to throw out the window because there's only a handful of laps left to go, and all you can do is hope for the best. Hope your strategy was the right one and that you can make some moves. Wygent will officially take the lead this time by away from Rodriguez. Rodriguez, though, has something to say about it as he's going to now run the high side with 19 and 12 in tow. Can the Ascent driver ascend to the lead once more? He might be able to do it since Wygent has no friends down below.
Well, he doesn't burn up the stuff here. Obviously, with 3 to go here, don't really care if you burn it up because you're going to get fresh stuff in a couple laps anyway. But Blowers gets a great run here. Going to try to do something, but can't get the job done. He'll have to tuck back in line. That could allow Hall to escape around his high side. He's not, but they're still side by side for the lead. Saw this show a couple laps at lap 6 here between Hall and Wygent, where again Hall almost got in the Wygent, and the inside was not the place to be. We'll see if Wygent maybe learned a few tricks here as Blowers clips the wall there just a tiny bit. It's going to allow Hall to challenge for third.
Side by side, they continue to run. The 99 of Rodriguez, the 0-0 of Wygent. They continue to battle hammer and tong, tooth and nail for position number 1. Pit lane is closed. 2 to go before we throw the caution flag for stage number 1. Wygent at a disadvantage as they go down the backstretch, getting the tailwind into turns 3 and 4. Nobody wanting to help him. Rodriguez gets the advantage.
Makes you wonder how much a stage win means to these drivers here, because Wygent obviously could use it for extra points, but Blowers is a sub-driver. could actually help him out if he ends up getting a full-time ride. Those hit one to go in the stage here. Wygent now going to try to take it from the high side instead of the low side. We'll see if he can be successful riding it, rolling it around the high side, drifting it very close. Oh, big lid for Yai here at the wall. Let Dustin Hall, both of them on the high side here. Cars begin to fan out here, and that could be major terminal damage for the 99.
Could be terminal damage for the 12 as well. Back up front, it will be the 00 getting the first green checker flag of the evening, as Facey Wygent will win the stage. Win the stage, and with the drivers behind him as well. Pageant up front, Brian Flowers second, Caitlin Height now third, Seth Wansing fourth, and Joshua Susi rounding out your top 5.
Finishing that list will be Meredith, Boone, Constantinu, Hagen, and Swats with your top 10. But let's take another look at that coming to the end of stage number 1 here. Just hit the white flag lap on the stage. You see Wygent trying to rip it around the high side. Previous laps, he took it on the low side here. Gets a good run. Will nicely slow it down here. And let's just see what happened. Did Wygent come low? Did 99 get loose? We'll see here as he slow it down side by side. You can see the 00 getting the run. Oh, the 99's drifting up just a bit. Doesn't look at the 00 moves all that much. Gets a little snap of oversteer there, and it shoots him hard into the outside wall. Big lick there. And then at no point for Dustin Hall, who's riding that line, nowhere to take it. Smacks into the back of the 99 machine, and you can see obviously gets a little bit of damage for that 12.
Meanwhile, a couple of updates down on pit road. Caleb Eichler has disconnected. Celine Thompson also throwing the net down and calling it a night as well. So 2 drivers already calling it a night on the field of 39. Celine Thompson will finish 39th. Caleb Eichler finishes 38th. And I think we did have a couple drivers come down pit road before it was closed.
We'll have to see on that point. There's the other replay of the incident again, just to give it one more perspective. And I think we'll get an onboard shot here at Blowers next. Just to add one more point to that, Yahir Rigas, who was involved in this incident, has also taken it behind the wall. So this accident was terminal for the 99. And we'll see how it all plays. But you can see right there again, 00 held the line. You can't be 100% mad at that. He did not take out the 99. The 99 just got a little loose. And at that point, the speeds they were going, it was just not a good incident. Could not save it. And you can see the damage that caused. And another kind of sad thing, maybe in a personal thing, 2 drivers I predicted in the pre-race to watch out for, both involved on an incident there to finish the stint there. But as all the cars come down pit lane here, no stragglers will stay out other than, I think, Sharp and Odie, who are looking to take the wave around here. But as we'll see the cars come out here, the race down the line, it's going to be Wygent winning it off with Blowers and Height being 2 and 3. Actually, Height Blowers 2-3 with Sosi and Meredith rounding out the top 5. So Height taking a chance of getting the good virtual crew there. They will give her a front row restart position coming to the green flag.
Let's go down these stage finishers one more time here for all you following along at home. Pacey Wygent gets the win, stage win up front by Blowers, finishes second. Caitlin Height, her debut run here in the HTL Cup Series, finishes third. Seth Wansing fourth. Joshua Susi, your top 5. Zachary Meredith, Matthew Boone, Bianca Constano, John Hagen, and Shad Swatsworth rounding out your top 10. They'll all pick up playoff points as we get ready to go back to green flag racing.
Yeah, indeed. And obviously, you see a few other cars coming down. That's, I think, Odie taking a second trip down pit lane here. But we'll take a quick look here at the stat facts. Obviously, lap 37, 145, 108 laps to go. Obviously, another stage break to conclude in this. Cautions only 1 with 2 caution laps and 7 lead changes. Obviously, the only caution being the end of the stage. Other than that, though, 35 green flag laps. Hopefully, stage 2 is just as clean as stage number 1. We'll also take another look at the weather here, and the wind has not calmed down. It's actually gotten a little bit stronger. You can see 38 miles per hour to the southwest. And obviously that's playing a factor here. We heard from some drivers that it may have should have calmed down as the sun begins to set and get to a little bit more manageable temperatures and manageable weather when this winds. We'll have to see how it all goes.
We'll have to see how everything shakes out, but a lot of drivers here having a lot of fun so far, gambling it all on this track. Only 15 minutes from the strip, next door to Nellis Air Force Base. You see the Nellis backstretch painted on the back there. This track can also be seen from the Strat, the tallest building in Las Vegas, one of my favorite places to hang out, mostly because they have $10 craps and blackjack early if you get down there early enough in the morning.
And honestly, you're a bit of a gambler here. Obviously, if we ever hit up Vegas, I may have to follow your lead. Not a big of a gambler myself, but you can see in the distance of the iRacing render zone, not much you can really see here, as not much of the scenery has developed outward here. But you can see some of the virtual fans in the infield grandstands watching along with up on the embankment there, getting treated to a nice show here. So we should get the one to go here coming this time by. We're going to get ready to go again here. Looks like Sharp did get the lucky dog, so she will put us with 33 cars on the lead lap with Odie and Chafin still running, and Gaiman must have had some sort of incident during the last 35 laps there, as he is still stationary on pit lane with the damage clock over 5 minutes. There you can see Sharp, though, taking advantage of her lucky dog. Now come on in and get some service. So obviously bad days for Gaiman, Rodriguez, Eichler, Thompson, Chafin right now at the moment, all with some damage and being a lap down, with Odie not having any damage, but currently still one down.
33 drivers remain on the lead lap, but Peltier Sharp on the very end of it in position number 33 after having to start from the very end of the field. As we look inside the three of Caitlin Height. First start in 2024, and so far a good one. She's got the number 3 FedEx Express car up in position number 2, hoping to strike gold and try to get back to position number 1. First race, first checkered flag. It could be. It definitely. Anything is possible when you wake up in Vegas. Pacey Wygen will be in control of the field when we go to green flag racing. You see him riding on inside with air. He will start stage number 2 when we come back around this time by. First racing Ford Mustang about to make the lonely turn down pit road. There it goes. Wave goodbye to the pace car. He wants nothing. The driver of that wants nothing to do with what we're going to see out here. Wygen in control of the field into the restart zone. Green flag flies, and Wygen gets a great jump to the start-finish line.
Perks of restarting as the lead car here, that will definitely help him out quite nicely. Going to try to keep his domination in stage 2 as he did in stage number 1. But obviously Caitlin Height not willing to let that go away at the moment. Going to get a good run here out of 2. Is going to try to send a move on the low side here. We'll see if she can be successful going into 3.
If you're going to make a move, do it on the backstretch where you have that tailwind giving you the shove all the way around into 3 and 4, the tight turns of 3 and 4, and it's enough. Caitlin Height, in her debut race, will take the lead and lead her first lap here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Not to be outdone, though, the 00 crossing over on the bottom side. The 00 wants his lead back, and I think he's going to do whatever it takes to get it.
Yeah, they had some run-ins last season.
Trouble
in the back here. Looks like it's a bunch of cars here. Looks like it's about mid-pack. I can't technically see who it is, but a lot of good cars there involved. Seth Wansing a bit slow here. Doesn't look like he's horribly damaged, but it looks like it may have been
44, I believe.
44. John Hagan involved here. Looks like we'll have to take an advantage here to see who it was, and obviously the eye in the sky will show us all.
I believe it's a 44 of John Hagan who clipped the 88 of Seth Wansing coming out of turns 1 and 2. You see them now fighting back and forth on the Nellis straightaway. The 88 tries to correct, unfortunately gets into the 44 and turns him backwards. He will immediately disconnect as a result of that one. So 2 drivers now out of the race, maybe even a third one. I believe that was another driver up there. I don't know. There's a third driver involved.
Looks like it's the 20, if I'm not mistaken. The 20 was involved in that incident as well. We'll take another look here as well. Obviously, John Hagan has to start from the rear. And you know that aggression is played out. A very aggressive driver that's willing to take no prisoners. You can see right there, Boom comes up in front of Wansing. Doesn't really hurt it. And right there, Hagan thought he had room to come up. Could not get it done. Comes up, can't save it. It's right into Hagan. Sends Hagan around here. And you can see right there. Luckily, the 20 got horribly involved with Hagan. End up disconnecting here. We're right on board now with the 20 of Hunter Peach. So he's going to have a good shot to see exactly what happens.
You see them going through turns 1 and 2. They're going to connect at the very end of turn number 2, get sideways back and forth. And you see the 44 and the 88 just gets turned around there into the wall. And Peach, deciding discretion's a better part of valor, will woe it up, take the wall lick. But hey, a wall lick is way better than going out with gorilla damage.
So we'll take one more look here as well. Seth Wansing, you can see right there, gets loose, gets the speed wobbles, tries to save it, but that wind doesn't make it easy. Gets Hagan the hook, and at that point you can see right there, it's just a passage at this point. Then runs into that Ascent car. I think that's the 90s. I saw him during qualifying, but at the very least though, He gets a little scratch there too, but he'll be fine. So obviously the two big licks there were Hunter Peach and not Hunter Peach, Seth Wanzing and John Hagen get the big licks there. And there is the car in question of Ruby Estes was the car in question. You can see that right front very torn up. But again, very minor in that 97 and easily fixable.
So John Hagen immediately pulls it behind the wall. The Arrowhead driver will call it a night, as some other drivers here Seth Wansing, Dustin Hall, try to get some repairs made, see if they can salvage the evening for themselves and their sponsors. Nobody else coming down pit road. We just had a pit stop not 2 laps ago, so we will continue to parade here under the yellow flag. Probably 1 or 2 more to go. They'll turn the lights off next time by. When we do, Pacey Wygant will be the leader once again. Caitlin Height, who has the speed to lead this race, will be start on the outside in position number 2 by Blowers. Zachary Meredith now in the top 10 after starting 15th. Big shout out to the 17 Pizza and Wings podcast machine and Josh Susi. Hello, Kitty. Kitty is now in position number 5.
Kitty going to try to show some claws here after last week to maybe show a little bit of gusto to get that point happening. But right there, though, obviously taking advantage of the misery of other drivers, Richard Odie will get back on the lead lap here, and that will give us 33 on the lead lap as Wanzing and Hall was obviously involved in the caution before the end of the stage break. Seth Wanzing obviously involved in the caution that we just saw. Both will continue on, but it makes you wonder if their cars are going to be very strong in competition. But right there, you can see Odie right there. He's the recipient of the lucky dog. He'll be back on the lead lap, and that will give us 33 cars still running.
33 cars still running, and I believe that's going to be 30, well, at least 33 on the lead lap now that Odie is back on the lead lap as well. A couple drivers still on pit road trying to get their cars fixed as best they can. The 88 not officially out of the race yet, but we'll see what they can salvage for that car and at least get a few more laps in for that Napa Toyota Camry. Lights should come out this time by, and I believe the leader is going to choose the high lane. Yes, the 00 actually is going to go ahead and choose the high lane over the 3 of Caitlin Height. So it'll be Wygant up top in position number 1, Height position number 2, followed then immediately by Bobby Blowers and Zachary Meredith.
Reversal of fortune there. We saw Wygant, I believe, take the low side first time by there. So interesting to see how he's going to take this here. If the high side, maybe he's testing different lanes. Because you never know. If you get the lead late and we get a late restart, you want to pick the lane that you feel like has the strongest chance. And since the only one that has choice of position is the leader, it's good to kind of test out both lanes here, get a feel what your car does in both lanes. And maybe if a crunch time stop happens, you know where you want to be when it resets. But kind of going down the rest of the field, it's going to be Wygant, Height, row 1, Meredith Blowers, row 2, Boone, Sosi, row 3, Swatsworth, Constantinu, row 4, and Braille and Henderson, your first 5 rows coming to the green, which will be under Wygant's control.
So Wygant will be your leader when we go back to green flag racing in less than half a lap. And again, anything can happen. Anything is possible at this juncture. It's just a matter of who wants it more. How bad do you want it? That is a $64,000 question that's going to be answered in a decaying number of laps. It will be the 00 of Wygant, the 213simracing.com machine. Pacey Wygant into the restart zone for the 3rd time tonight. Green flag flies, and Wygant gets a good run. It looks like Height may have spinned the wheels there a little bit as she got a bump for Bobby Blowers.
See, that has an effect. Obviously, it looks like she is still relatively okay, but Meredith going to try to hang high side. Cannot get offended there. So even though it may have been a slight spin for the 3, it's not going to hurt her all that much, but it may kill her chances of the run here through 3 and 4 here to get on the 00. But you can see cars beginning to fan out a little bit here. You can see the Hello Kitty machine trying to make a move on Matthew Boone here. We're right on board with Jeremy Braille as he's currently sitting in P number 7 here. Car that's obviously came out through the field as well from a little bit of a top 20 qualifying run. Trying to find the runs, and it makes me wonder as we ride this onboard shot here, is that sun going to play a little bit of factor in these drivers in stage 2, as it's going to be kind of shining directly in their eyes.
Especially as they come onto the fast backstretch with that huge tailwind that's only getting faster with the draft out there. Up front, no changes. Pacey Wygant still leads the 17 and 3 side by side for positions 2 and 3. Now Bobby Blowers side by side with looks like Matthew Boone, who touched the wall coming out of 4. No major damage, though. They will continue to run side by side. 1, 3, 5, and then we get a little break before we have some more double wide action.
area indeed. And it's also a nice little mixture of manufacturers here. So we got 3 Toyotas, a handful of 2 bow ties, and the rest are Fords. So a nice mixture of basically 5 non-manufacturers and 5 Fords in this top 10. Looking at this battle here, you can see Braille trying to get a move on Boone. They still be side by side here. Then you can see Swatsworth and Peach. Around to Peach had to back down that incident. Now back inside the top 10 here, currently sitting at P9. So he's going to try to make that high line his prisoner here and make something happen.
Meanwhile, in the middle of the mix, Josh Susi continues to try to figure out where he wants to go. Highline seems to be the place to be right now, at least on the backstretch. Don't look now, but Chad Swatsworth getting a little help from the dead man, Blake Henderson. They're going to start shaking on Susi, and almost making contact turns 3 and 4. Susi goes high, and now that Blake Henderson has got to figure out who he wants to go with into turns 1 and 2. Could have some implications on where he leads. Henderson dives low, and Susi's in trouble.
The lane is definitely going to be helpful here, but back towards the front. Looks like Meredith's getting a good run on Wygen here. Zachary Meredith went winless last season, looking to try to get a win here. Obviously, we're still well over, halfway over, so still a long ways to go, but right now leading a lap could definitely help the confidence. He'll get clear of the 00. He will lead a lap in the Pizza and Wings podcast machine. Wygen now fall down to second, and then you can see Flowers there maybe getting a little bit pokey on Callie Height, currently sitting in third.
Lead change number 9 belongs to Zachary Meredith. Pacey Wygen second. Caitlin Height now fighting Bobby Blowers side by side. Behind them, Jerry Braille, Matthew Boone, Hunter Peach, Chad Swatsworth, Josh Susi, and Blake Henderson trying to fight for the top 10. Behind them, still lots of fighting, lots of driving to be done. Zachary Apperson looking around, trying to figure out where he wants to go in that number 4 Ghost Machine as Carmen Sienna and Alfred Denny side by side for position number 12.
Riding on here with Jerry Braille, gives a good little shove to Caitlin Height there, sitting in P3, maybe trying to give a giddy up and go to that 3 machine. And you can see, obviously, again, some little poking is happening a little bit further back. It looks like we'll cut to one of those actions. The 90 snap-on machine of Dean Clavitt, currently sitting in 24th here, a bit ways away. Now we'll cut up to the 57 of Bianca Constantinou, sitting in 17th. Now we're on Zachary Apperson riding aboard, currently in 14th. One of the biggest movers in the field, about 20 spots where he qualified. Just riding behind right now, Alfred Denny. And then you can see right there, Zier and Sienna, 12th and 11th respectively. Sienna on that high side, gonna get clear Zier. So they're really racing hard here as we're still within the distance away from the stage ending at 75, but we saw the calm happen about 20-25 laps at the stage, so it's a good chance to get as many positions as you can before you kind of calm out before stage end.
Lots of calamity still happening on the track. I'm still following Joshua Susi up in position number 8. He's still under fire from Chad Swatsworth, Blake Henderson behind him, Carmen Sienna, all fighting for position. Susi's qualified in position number 9. He knows he's got a good top 10 car. The problem is we don't know how good it is as he tries to figure out where he wants to go to try to make up positions. Up front, Meredith now has 3 car lengths over Casey Wygen. Caitlin Height still in the mix as Flowers and Peach almost make contact on the front stretch.
Yeah, right there. Again, this is a good point where cars behave differently depending on where they are in the pack. We've seen in real-life situations where a car that may be okay in the mid-pack gets some clean air, and next you know, they fly like a missile. So you got to be respective of where your car does, and obviously some of these fast cars may be buried in bad aero slipstream situations, and they just need some of that clean air. So obviously, with these stints being so long, you're not going to see many drivers roll the dice taking 2 tires, considering how tires kind of important around here. But at the very least, though, that's kind of the incentive to kind of push quicker, because we saw with Caitlin Hank's crew, she was about P4, P5 at the end of stage 1. She ended up getting her crew to get her to P2, and now she has a chance to get some clean air here. So track position is key. Get up towards the front, you can use that opportunity to get some clean air on that nose and maybe make your car a bit more competitive.
3 wide now up front. Hunter Peach is going to go all the way up to the wall before bringing it back in. That opens the door for Flowers and Boone to try to take away some position. Peach now maybe in a little bit of danger, trying to figure out who he wants to go with, where he wants to go. Now Caitlin Height making another run towards the front. Zachary Meredith doing a great job of playing both lines. He knows if he lets those drivers gives those drivers an inch, they're going to take a mile.
And indeed, that's why drivers will obviously take as much. Obviously, other drivers run a bit differently in situations. Some will obviously run you down more. Others will make it hard to pass. Others will not. So obviously, different drivers try different styles, but most will take an inch if you give them a mile. Not a mile to an inch. But Zachary Meredith on 8 laps so far has led the past 8 laps here. Still looking strong here, controlling the lines. As right now you can see height in the 3, trying to get around that double zero here. But again, that 17 being kind of like you do at plate races, picks a lane, picks a line, picks a spot, and then pulls one car up to make the others battle, and is controlling the lines quite nicely.
This race reminds me a lot of Atlanta. It's not a plate track per se, but it is a very fast mile and a half, and with that tailwind going down the backstretch, you're almost doing plate racing entirely. You're sitting in draft, you're waiting for people to come with you, and you're trying to strategically make a move in order to get you the best shot of getting up front. And Casey Wygant does just that. Makes a great run out of 1 and 2. Now into the wall of air. That is 3 and 4. You can score Casey Wygant, your leader, this time by Hunter Peach. Now moves up to second. Zachary Meredith dispatched to third.
Yeah, right there. You can see just making moves, picking lines. And Meredith had a good run towards the front. Right now, going to fall back just a bit. Gonna have to get back on high horse and try again. Now going to be side by side with the 3 machine. But it's almost a bit of night and day here as I watch Casey Wygant run a Sunday series and a Monday series here on the APN Family Networks. And this both in next in machines. And Wygant is very fast in the A-Square Cup Series, but it can be sometimes a bit just bad luck, a little bit snake bitten. But here, he's not showing any of that snake bitten here, as he is quite literally showing some strong pace here. So he's definitely a strong driver in his next gen machines. It's just sometimes the series can sometimes not shine on you, and you get some bad luck. But as you see him riding on board here with Bobby Flowers, maybe almost willing to make it 3 wide on Braille and Boone. He thinks better of it, will stay behind Braille, and will actually be rewarded for his efforts, and will get clear of at least Boone. Now going to try to set the move on Braille.
The Fastenal 19 was fastened very close into the 74 machine of Braille. Nowhere to go, though. Or actually, check that. He does make a position up as a result of that, so move Flowers up to position number 5 as a result. Now he's got his eyes on position number 4. In front of him, Meredith and Height battling back and forth, side by side. Behind them, more drivers battling, trying to figure out where they want to go, how they want to work this. Chad Swatsworth trying to get away from Matthew Boone. Swatsworth may have some help as Carmen Sienna, the other Arrowhead driver, is coming to the rescue. Blake Henderson, though, he wants to let Carmen Sienna rest in peace if he has something to say about it.
You can see right there, nice pun by the way, but you can see right there Swatsworth gets a little wall smack right there, just a tiny bit, not going to affect the car all that much, as we now see Henderson and Sienna in their rivalry they have between the two of them, both fighting very hard here for the position of P10 respectively. But at the very least, I noticed when Swatsworth hit that wall, if you constantly keep giving up little hits, it could give you optional damage or even required damage if you're unlucky that may have to be fixed. So you got to be careful how you flirt to the wall. And if you end up hitting it too hard, you may have to take a little bit of repair, and that could put you back with the squirrels, and sometimes the squirrels find nuts. But you can see right there, he's still riding aboard of Sienna Zier, getting a little bit pokey. She will get a run here on the low side, and now they'll be side by side on the backstretch.
10 laps to go when we cross the start-finish line. Wygant still in front. Peach, Height, your top 3. Meredith, Flowers, Rialt now in position number 6. Josh Susie finding his second win, no pun intended. He will start trying to move up the field. Swatsworth, Boone, and Lilac Zier in the 50 machine, rounding out your top 10. Carmen Sienna can't break in. Blake Henderson forced to drop in behind. And with 10 laps to go, everybody now starting to just wait in line, knowing they have to work the draft in order to move forward. Let's say another driver may have gotten into the wall there. That is going to be these 93 machine, one of the Ascent drivers.
That may be could have been the 97 Ruby S's, but they all run high 90 cars here. Maybe Austin Mongold. Well, let's look. We have a replay of what it was.
93, I believe.
93, a DJ Trout. Boom, big lick there. You can see the smoke pop off. You can see that car taking base of action to get around. But luckily, again, it doesn't seem like it slowed Trout all that down as he's still firing off on high speeds. But as we go off in 3 and 4, we're coming close to the stage end here. We're out in 75 is when the stage ends. And obviously with the fuel tanks taking us 34, 37 laps, and the stage ending at 25, there is possibly some question, possibly on fuel if my math is correct.
Possibly, as I watch, but these guys aren't worrying about it. I'm still watching 3 wide now around DJ Trout in the 93. Dalier Sharp, Dean Glavette, Lily Frazier, Josh Arnold, all jockeying for position. They're in back into the 24s, but you'd think they're running for the lead. The way they are side by side, back and forth, trying to force the issue back there. Great racing all the way around as we almost go 4 wide through 3 and 4.
Ooh, that was very sketchy. I was watching that. I was holding my breath for just a second. As you can see, it hits that hole perfectly and will end up gaining a spot out of it. So sometimes you got to be fearless to make moves happen. Just to add to my point, though, that caution should have gave them enough fuel to make it with a little bit of saving, so they should be okay. But if you didn't manage your fuel well enough, you may see a quick trip down pit lane. But just showing you, Wygen has gotten some distance on Peach, Height, Meredith, and Blowers. He's gotten some breathing room. We'll see if this pack maybe can get a little bit single file here, try to chase back down that 0-0 to stop the Stage 1 winner becoming the Stage 2 winner.
You know what they say, fortune favors the bold, and sometimes you just got to put a big bet on the table, hoping that it pays out the way you want. Pacey Wygen has put a big bet down, and with 6 laps to go, he's almost in his own zip code. Hunter Peach in second, Zachary Meredith third, Caitlin Height fourth, and By Flowers now in the top 5. Joshua Susi, who was almost out, Quagmire out of the top 10, is now back in the top, almost the top 5, in position number 6. Next final fight on the field is Jeremy Brault. He's trying to get around the 50 of Lilac Zier side by side in turns 1 and 2.
It's about patience, but bold drivers favor the bold. As you can see, moves happen there. You saw Flowers kiss that wall as well. We'll see if that shaved any of the speed out of it. Right now, it doesn't look like that's the case. Focusing on right now the battle between 9 and 10 here. There's Lilac Zier sitting in 8th. 9th and 10th. This is for the last couple points here. Right now, the odd driver out is currently sitting is the number 9 of Eli Sasek. He's going to have to find a way around one of these cars if he wants to end up getting a stage point here, with just coming to 5 to go in the stage. Now 4 to go in the stage.
4 to go in the stage. Pacey Wygen is getting an even bigger run from the drivers behind him. He could go back-to-back in stage wins tonight, but it's the big one, the third one, that counts the most. Zachary Meredith still in second, Peach third, Height fourth, By Flowers your top 5, and now your top 8 all running in line. Eli Sasek, the Ascent number 9 machine, will sit around in position number 11. That was the last battle with Matthew Boone. Carmen Sienna now, we're almost breaking into the top 10 as everybody all the way back to, I believe that is going to be 19th position, all in line.
Yeah, right now, again, right there. Oh, car going way low there. I think that was Swansworth going very low there. Actually, it wasn't Swansworth. My apologies. Actually, no, it was Swansworth. So back to right there. You can see Swansworth trying to do something here, trying to get around Blowers, as we're going to hit 2 to go in the stage. And pit lane is going to be closed next time by, actually this time by, as you can see Height, though, holding on to Hunter Peach right now, sitting, currently staying in the 3rd, matching the car number on the side.
It's go time if you want to make some noise in stage number 2. Now is the time to do it. Pacey Wygen is the man who holds all the chips, but Zachary Meredith, Caitlin Height, Hunter Peach, and a whole bunch of other drivers, they want to see if they can dethrone the big stack. It may not happen this run, but they still have a lot of racing left to go here in Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Next battle is going to be around position number 6. Flowers, Zier, Swansworth, all running different lines. 2 down low, 1 down high, and Zier finds herself in quite a pickle. She's going to try to make it work up high, right up against the wall there in the 50, and she will easily clear the 19 of Bobby Flowers, who at one point was battling for the lead.
As they come across the line here is Pacey Wygen doing the double. He'll win both stages here with Zachary Meredith 2nd, Height 3rd, Peach 4th, Sosi rounding out your top 5 here in a very less chaotic than stage 1 end there, but still stage victories count nonetheless and points count nonetheless, whether they're chaotic or calm.
So the driver of the 213 Simware machine will go ahead and double down, drawing an ace to win stage number 2. Zachary Meredith in 2nd, Caitlin Height in 3rd, Hunter Peach, Joshua Susi rounding out your top 5. Lilac Zier sneaks into the top 10, as well as Bobby Blowers, Chad Swansworth, Eli Sasek, and Carmen Sienna will sneak away with 1 playoff point as well, getting position number 10.
Yep, that will definitely help her causes and give her some nice little reprieve and momentum that could help her through the final stage of this race. As we're riding on board here with the bumper camera here, we'll zoom out now. It's the pace car's bumper there. As we'll see, I'm assuming it's going to be a very crowded pit lane. I don't think anyone's going to stay out, as obviously a fuel run is about 37 laps. That stage obviously went the full distance. So unless you want to run out of fuel, I think you're going to come on in with the rest of the field here.
I think everybody's going to come down pit road. And they're going to look for two things: a full tank of virtual Sunoco racing fuel and one more set of virtual racing and virtual Goodyear Eagles to put on those cars. Wygant will lead the parade down pit road. After this, they'll only have 3 sets of tires. Some will only have 2 sets of tires as a result. So now you got to start figuring out, when do I want to come down next? I'm going to have to come down pit road one more time at least. When do I want to come down? When do I want to make those tires? And will that decision be made for me by one of the leaders coming down pit road? Wygant pulls into his box. In front of him will be Bobby Blowers. And here comes Dustin Hall, who did start on the pole. Will get pit box number 1. Who will be the first one off pit road? It looks like we had some 2 tire takers right there. William Britton, one of the privateers, and Tommy Withers, the 23 machine. I believe those 2 cars only took 2 tires, and they're going to escape well in front of everybody else.
I'm wondering if Withers didn't miss his box. So Tommy Withers did not pit there, so he didn't come in at all. And it makes me wonder if Britton may have had a similar issue here. Just going back to my own record here to see if he ended up stopping or not. Yeah, both drivers missed their pit boxes, so they will most likely be coming back in again here to get service here. Because, well, you need fuel and tires to win this race. You can't be like McQueen in Cars 1 and just make it on gas only. But on the race off pit lanes, actually, we'll take a quick look at the race box here. You can see Wygant also missed his box, possibly? Not Wygant. Yeah, no, he had a pit stop off, and he's going to come out cleanly at first, though. So, no missed box for Wygant. He'll take pole position off Payne Brain here. And, yeah, so back up front, you'll see now. We're going to check William Britton here. Yep, and you'll see right here, obviously, Britton's ahead, and I think Withers is right there, the car ahead there. And you'll see right here, the 23 trying to come into his box here and just not going to make it. And Britton, I guess, his box is a little bit back there too, and with Withers going in a little early, couldn't follow him in either. So both just going to come back around here. And more importantly, with live action here, you can see Withers comes back in. Britton does not. Britton's still out on the racing surface right now.
No, he elected to go out and run a lap. I don't think that's I don't know what kind of decision that was. That might have been very deliberate to try to get Green Room Dispensary, a sponsor on that Ford Mustang, a little bit of TV time. You won't get bonus points for leading a lap, but hey, a lap lead is a lap lead no matter how you do it. And William Britton will lead this lap. We'll probably go down pit road next time by to get away from all those who already have good virtual tires and good virtual Sunoco racing fuel underneath them. So Britton should this time give up the lead to the 00 of Pacey Wygant.
Yeah, we'll see how this happens here. Obviously, again, I remember doing that at Virtual Races Pocono once here on the ABN network, where I just stayed out, got the sponsors a little happy, and then came back in the next time. But obviously with pit lane, I think being closed this time by, you'll have to go to the tail end of the longest line. But obviously wanting to play a statistical role here. But now we'll take a look at the ABN trivia here. And I'll ask it to you, Joe, since you asked the question last week. Through the Oval was constructed in 1996. When did the original venue for Las Vegas Motor Speedway open? So though the Oval was constructed in 96, when did this original venue open up?
That is a great question. I can tell you this. It wasn't opened up by the mob. It was one of the few things here in Vegas that was not opened up by the mafia. That would have been 1971 when it first opened up.
Mm-hmm. We'll see here. Ooh, so close. It was 1972, just a year off. It hosted drag and off-road racing, and obviously, well over 20 more years later, 24 to be exact, they ended up opening the Oval that is still in function today. So obviously, the mob had a very heavy factor in a lot of the strip. But at the very least, though, this track did not have those influences, but still a very nice track indeed. As we see, obviously, with the 65 of Britton coming on in that time by, it will hand lead off to Wygant. And as the lights are out in the pace car, it's going to be Wygant, Height, row 1, Meredith Peach, row 2, Sosi Sear, row 3, Blowers, Swatsworth, row 4, and Carmen, Sienna, and Eli Sasek rounding out the first 5 rows.
So now it gets interesting. Now bets are almost off on the table. If you're going to do something, you got to do it. You got to do it quick to see what you've got under that car. Right now, Pacey Wygant's a big stack. Everyone's looking to beat him, dethrone the king But to do that, you got to place your bets and make some strategic moves to try to get the king off the table. Pace car will go down pit road. Wygant in control of the field, going into the Geico restart zone. Green flag flies. Wygant slows everybody down before getting the jump. That's a great advantage for Height and Company, as they're all going to file in line and start try to get some draft help to see if they can dethrone the 00.
Very easy to get the help, but it's also very hard to dethrone. But one driver that could is that 3 machine. Got a good run last time by, getting a good run here, better than the second restart in stage 2. And he's going to tuck in nicely in second position here. It's going to buy time here. Don't want to force the issue and end up making an enemy when you could have a friend.
Don't want to make any enemies right now, especially because this is the longest stretch of racing we're going to see all night. Only 82 of 145 laps left to go, plus you're going to have to make a pit stop somewhere, as now we see it getting a little racy. Back in position number 3, Hunter Peach goes around the long way as Zachary Meredith holds off Josh Susi. All those drivers starting to get quite a bit racy as the 3 goes low, tries to make the pass.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get that job done here. They'll hang it on the high side, riding on board here with Bobby Flowers. You can see right there, actually, sorry, it's the 3 machine riding on board here. Close photo finish at the line there. Think the 3 got the lap led, but Wygant not going to be deterred on that high side. Going to get a nice side-by-side, still side-by-side here. And you can see Peach and Meredith waiting in wings, waiting for one of these drivers to make a move. And with Meredith jump to the high side, I think they're placing their bets that the 00 is going to win this encounter.
Side by side all the way back to position number 15. The 00 is the car to beat right now. Susie up front, Lilac Zier in position number 6. Let's go back up front. Casey Wygant leading, Hunter Peach in the mix as well. Caitlin Height fighting off an advance from Zachary Meredith. And now Josh Susie back in the mix as well, as the high side getting a big run is a driver of that 20 machine. And now you can count the 20 up front. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm still Meredith take the lead, held for about 8 to 9 laps, and eventually faltered back to Wygant. But we'll see if Hunter Peach can change the tune here and maybe take a longer lead on that 00, or even hold it for the end here. But obviously, long way to go here still. Peach, your leader, and then you can see Height, though. Wygant has fallen no farther than second since basically the end of stage number 1 here. So at the very least, doing a good job to hold on to the position here. Now Wygant knocking on the door here. Can't get the run, but you know who's getting a run? That 3 machine thought about it. Can't get it done, though.
Knocking on Peach's door are the rest of the drivers. Pacey Wygant may also be making this move strategically to try to hold gas, try to preserve tires, and see if he can extend his run so he doesn't come out. Caution on field.
Right there, I heard on the radio broadcast one thing from Eli Sasek. Why are we taking it 4 wide? And it looks like the caution is around him. So obviously, we'll see if we take a look here at what happened. But obviously, when you hear why we taking it 4 wide, it doesn't end well. 2 A-set machines in the middle. Blake Henderson on the high side. Dean Clavitt on the very high side. And Clavitt gets hooked on Swatsworth into that. And look at, Henderson big lick on the high wall. Maybe living up to that sponsorship a little bit too well there.
A little bit too well, as the 90 and I believe the 25 get the worst of that one. Blake Henderson, the dead man, well, he's not dead, but his car might be as a result of that incident. Both those cars getting the worst of the damage. The 18 machine also involved as well. And you see it right there. The 90 and the 25 just get hooked, go straight head on into the wall. And that could effectively bury the Tombstone driver at least, and take out Dean Clavitt from the Rear Racing Club as well.
Both on Dean Clavitt here in the replay, and what we saw there is Henderson just got a little pushed up the road, and they were 4 wide. Not much room you can give when you're 4 wide. You see Henderson gets right up into the 9 gets to the 18, the 18 gets to the 90, sends the 90 down, and at that point, all 4 cars are just kind of reaping what they sowed there, and you can see the effects that happened. More importantly, kind of worth noting, a little fun fact coming into the night's broadcast, only Clavitt and Sasek were the only 2 drivers finished in the top 10 the past 2 weeks, and right now that looks like it could be in jeopardy at the very least. It looks like we'll take another look, this time riding on board with the car that was riding in the wings here, Richard Odie, I believe it is, was angry.
We'll follow along with Willie Frazier. She sees exactly what happened. She saw the trouble brewing, immediately goes down low to avoid that accident. and will go ahead and a big save on her part. Meanwhile, drivers on pit road, Dustin Hall decides to take his pit stop early. I believe that was 4 tires and fuel in that one. Kevin Gibney Jr., the number 1 machine, comes down pit road early as well as a small contingency of other drivers as well electing to go early down pit road. We'll go back, and as you see the pit road notifier right there on your screen, Chad Swatsworth obviously for the damage, Richard Odie, Matthew Boone, Seth Wansing, who was earlier, will come along, William Britton and Ruby Estes, not damaged. They will go ahead and get their pit road done early. Interesting move to try to see if they can stretch out that pit stop for the end of the race.
I don't know if that's going to be a hittable number here, because looking at the numbers here, it's going to be a very hard number to hit here. It's 57 laps, and with a tank being about 34, 37, they're going to need a lot of cautions here. But trying to get off sequence, maybe go a little long. They could maybe catch a nil time caution and make it happen. But right now, we're in the middle of the West Coast swing here. Last week, we were at Auto Club, 238 miles away in Fontana, California. Now, we're currently in Las Vegas Motor Speedway at Las Vegas, Nevada, obviously in the track name right now. And where are we going next week? We're going to Sonoma, California for the Sonoma Raceway. It's 596 miles away on May 20th. So obviously we're in the West Coast swing, going to California, Nevada, then back to California for 3 different races here. We'll see how this all plays. We'll see who is the king of the West Coast swing. And one driver you could say right now looking poised to take that title is the 00 machine.
You did 2 out of 3 right there, Kevin. I'll give you credit for that. You had 2 out of 3 right.
Hey, it's a passing grade. You know what? That's sometimes all you can take there at the very least. Oh, maybe not. 66. Well, some schools will call that passing. Oh, barely. Hey, that got me out of summer school. So anyway, though, we're on lap 89 and 90. We're going to probably see the lights go on the pace car this time by. We got 33 cars still in the lead lap. Swatsworth Clavitt came back down again to fix up some more damage here. And obviously no cars have joined the Shadow Realm here since Josh Gaiman. Actually, Josh Gaiman's still running 3 down, so he's actually getting his laps back. So we have 34 cars still running. John Hagan has been the last car to retire, and that was with an incident early in stage 2.
213 Simware getting a lot of TV time right now as 2 of their drivers up front, Hunter Beach, Pacey Wygant, and Caitlin Height, all in position in 1, 2, 3. And I'd like to take this moment to add that even though your 2 drivers were involved in an incident at the end of stage 1, the 2 drivers I picked to win this race are now in positions 2 and 3.
Well, at the very least, your Lady Luck is doing well. Obviously, you're the gambler, so it works out for you. On my hand, I think I reverse jinx more drivers than I've seen actually be correct here. So obviously, you get the flowers, I get the hateful messages when I predict drivers.
Hey, you gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them and know when to walk away. But in your case, you gotta know when to run. I would start running if I were you.
Well, at the very least, there's a reason why Carmen won't go to any casinos with me, because I think I bring a little bit of bad luck. And I think if there's an ABN retreat to a casino, I think I'll be at the table alone while everyone else is around you taking your good luck.
38 miles per hour, the wind gusts continue to dominate this race. And again, this is going to be a race that's fought on the back stretch. They get that tailwind coming off of turn 2 all the way down that Nellis back stretch, and it turns 3 and 4. It makes those cars really, really tight. This is going to be a very entertaining restart as these guys have heat cycled a little bit of these tires. We'll see if they can continue to hold on and try to fight the tightness that is caused by that huge wind going down the back stretch. Into turns 4 they go. The first racing Ford Mustang will make the hard left turn down pit road. This time by, there it'll go. And now the field is in charge of Hunter Peach for the first time tonight. Peach gonna try to get a good jump on the race in the Geico restart zone. Here we go. Peach, great acceleration off the jump. Pacey Wygant, not so much. And now here comes Caitlin Height trying to push the 20 up front.
First time Wygant has not controlled the restart in a long time here. You can see maybe the ill effects that has had. And now Wygant's going to have to be the driver on the attack here rather than taking advantage of the clean air. Peach is going to take advantage and hold off. But you can see right there, car ping-ponging way off into the inside wall. Big lick door side. It's the 33 to Josh Gaiman, who's not going to be too thrilled with that. 3 laps down. And I think that may be the day he decides just to pull it behind the wall here. Big lick here, and we'll take another look here. Riding all alone, does he get any help, or is that just a simple incident here? And up the road, oh, he just got loose, shot him way down. Maybe the winds played a factor. Oh, big lick door side. sends him up way up the racing line. At least the only advantage is that he was far enough back that when he came up the zone, no one else was there to greet him, so we'll stay green.
Front end torn off of that machine. We will stay green as the battle heats up for position number 1. Wygant now door to door with Hunter Peach. Wygant wants to take the lead back in a big way, and they both got contenders behind them trying to help. On the high side, it's Zachary Meredith. On the low side, Caitlin Height. And now the 2-car tandem will become a 6-car tandem as Height tries to block Susie. Susie will still get the advantage moving ahead. And now here comes Carmen Sienna trying to figure out who she wants to draft with.
Obviously, neither are teammates, and obviously she was teammates with the 3-car last season with Caitlin Height there, but obviously new manufacturer, new driver, so going to pick lanes here, just kind of pick where she feels the most comfortable, make something happen. Just to confirm what we just saw, Josh Gaiman has now officially pulled behind the wall. He will now join the graveyard, giving us now 33 cars running on the racing surface. You can see right there Sienna on the inside. You can see a Bobby Blowers-shaped car there, peeking on that low side.
Casey Wygant still dominant on the high side. Hunter Peach trying to hold him off. Down low is now the 17 and 3 make contact coming out of turn 4. Advantage this time to Casey Wygant. Wygant will take the lead that time by on paper at least. Zachary Meredith and company don't necessarily want to see that, but Peach is the one who wants to fight for it most. He is still side by side as caution comes out.
Yeah, you can see a bunch of cars in the back wall there, trying to see who it was. Looks like it was Tommy Withers, possibly. Nope, it's DeMonte Dotson who was involved in that incident right there, a little bit slow. And you can see the other car there speeding up. It looks like it may have been Blake Henderson as well. Double cautions involved for him here. And it looks like we'll take a look exactly what happened here.
It starts around the 31 of DeMonte Dotson down the Nellis straight, going down Nellis straightaway, and he's boxed in. With the 8 of Callie Height, they make contact into turns, I believe that's 3 and 4. 1 and 2, check that, 1 and 2. They'll make contact. The 31 will go around. Not a whole lot of damage on the car, but just enough traffic to bring out the caution.
Yeah, Henderson got kind of the worst lick there as he was pinned between a rock and a 31 American Airlines hard place there. We're on board here with the 8 through the aerial camera here. You can see side by side with Henderson. Hole opens up. Kelly, you know, is someone that will take those holes if they're open. You can see right there, Dotson try to cover off out the line and get just maybe a bit of net code, maybe a bit of arrow push there. Sends the 31 up into the 25. And again, minimal damage for both. You know, Henderson already had a bit of a wounded car from the previous incident. We'll see if that may have shoved up any more speed in his number 25 machine.
Let's take one more look at the incident that took out the 33 of Gaiman this time by. And you see him running low down there. He might have just hooked the apron, or might have just gotten a bit of a speed wobble. Comes through on by the back stretch, side by side. The sudden there gets ping-ponged there. A hard lick into that inside wall right where the angled wall is. And that is going to make a tough lick for him. Let's take it one more time on board.
Yeah, we'll see here again. We'll obviously get a good check here of the virtual ahead here as it may shake. Obviously just coming off the restart here. You can see he gets a good run, the 22 with Dotson. Again, 3 laps down. The only caution comes out, he's the only one down. He'd be 2 down, 1 down. Just trying to hope cautions come out, but sometimes when you want a caution, you become the caution. And you can see him get a little bit loose there. Goes way low at this point, can't save it, and big in the inside wall. At that point, how hard he hits, being 3 down, knowing that thing will be another length to repair. So that it's just better to take your lumps, admit it wasn't your week, and try to get ready for the road course next week.
The last run of the West Coast Swing in Sonoma Raceway next week. You can see that here right on ABN, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We will have the call from the heart of wine country in California, 506 miles away from here in Sonoma Raceway. I've been up there. It's a beautiful part of the world to be in. Only about an hour away from San Francisco and Oakland, if you can make the trip.
Yeah, it's definitely a good place. Definitely a bucket list area here. At the very least, try a little bit of their wine, but definitely something you want to see before you end up passing on. But anyway, though, lap 97 here, we had some interesting strategies play out here. Caitlin Height, she's currently the leader. She did not come into pit stop service along with Eli Sasek. They will make up the front row. Then Dustin Hall, Matthew Boone, Kevin Gibney, Dean Clavette, and DJ Trout, Richard Odie all came in under the previous caution, not the current one we're currently on. So they came in at 87. They will make up the next spots, and then you have Joshua Sosi on down, all coming in at 96. Now, obviously, we're still not within window yet. Obviously, we could say the window opens around 110. However, it could be possible to keep getting cautions. These drivers coming in at 96, maybe hedging their bets, thinking they can maybe save just enough laps to make something happen here. But obviously with Odie and the rest of the cars ahead, they still got a pit stop looming at the very least. We quickly cycle through the field here, showing off all the lovely paint schemes HTL has to offer.
A lot of beautiful cars out here on the field as we cycle through all of them under this caution flag. About a lap and a half left to go here in under the caution flag, and Caitlin Height will restart the field for the first time up in front. She's held the lead, but now she wants to lead, not only lead a lap, she wants to hold on to the lead for much longer. We will see what happens, if that can happen, when we go back to green flag racing. A lot of great paint schemes, a lot of very talented drivers in this series. I'd like to think I'm a talented driver, but I am not. I'm actually very jealous of some of these paint schemes that are out here.
Yeah, no, I agree with you as well. Someone that obviously is not that talented in most machinery. He runs occasionally for the one-off race here and there. It's definitely fun to kind of watch it up at the booth and see the great paints these drivers run and able to kind of show them off here. Again, makes you a bit envious that at the very least knowing that, hey, if I kind of had the skills out there, I think I'd be out there racing well with a great paint scheme. But hey, when I do get the chance to race along with you and also Joe, when you get to run as well, even if we're maybe running in the back, we know we're having fun at the very least.
Those who can are on the track, and those who can't announce. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I don't think our producer was too thrilled with that one, considering she is a world champion in ABN discipline at the very least. So, obviously, Joe taking a shot there at our producer. So, maybe if we're not careful, she's going to spend the rest of the camera up here, and we're going to have to call it like ants on a radio broadcast. But anyway, though, lights out on the pace car. It's going to be on Height's control here, and she's going to have control on the inside line. We'll see if Sasick, Hall, and Boone can keep up with her.
This might be a little radio impersonation for you there. Give you a little AM radio real quick. Caitlin Height up front. She's got a chance to lead this race. Like a little bit of green flag racing herself. She will take the start from the field in command as they go through turns 3 and 4. The pace car will make the turn down to pit road, and it will be Caitlin Height through the Geico restart zone. How will she take the green flag? There goes the pit. There goes the pace car. Green flag about to fly. We are back to racing here at Las Vegas.
That was a good AM radio impersonation there. The only thing that made it different from AM radio, I could hear every word you said. But anyway, Dustin Hall gets a good launch there. Sasick did not get going as much. He'll slot into P3 on the low line here. Now you'll see some of the differing strategies here. Obviously, it's a 10-lap difference on tires for those cars that came in on 87, and the cars up with the fresh tires that came in on 97. We'll see if they can carve their way up with the field here. It's about a 20-lap distance from Height's tires to Meredith's tires, but only 10 from Hall to Height. We'll see if that plays any factor here on this run.
Height has a great run, but look who's behind her. The 12 of Dustin Hall, the pole sitter, now wants to get back up front as we're back to 3 wide around the 81 of Susie. Still running side by side back there. Tough driving, and 3 wide will continue to be the call down the backstretch.
Their drivers getting a little antsy here again, using that tire advantage to their effect. Riding aboard here with Carmen. Sienna currently sitting in around P14 here. Just making them eyed by there. You can see right there, Odie on the high wall. Wygent trying to split the middle there. We'll get it done. And now Sienna going to follow Wygent through here. Breo going to be the big winner here. Going to get just a finger ahead of the 0-0, but they'll be side by side off into 1.
Side by side off into 1 they go. Up front, Caitlin Height now under fire. Dustin Hall, Matthew Boone. Both of them have been racing all night as we got another caution.
We saw right there what caused that caution there at the very least. Breo clipped the apron just a bit, shot up in the Wygent, sent Wygent into the wall, and then sent Wygent back into Zier's path. And then you can see right there the effects that happened onto Zier. So we'll take a look here on the replay again. We got a good on-board shot from Sienna's perspective. We'll ride aboard here. We'll ride along with actually right now Pacey Wygent. As you can see again, Breo clips the apron, shoots up right in the Wygent, and you can see Wygent trying to keep off the wall, clips Zier. Both of them big licks on the outside wall there. Both hit that respectively, and someone had a very good luck to escape that.
I believe that was the 77 of Odie, 78 of Odie, who was able to get through. Let's follow along with the 78 of Odie now, and you see he sees everything going on, sees the 2 cars colliding, holds the line, and is able to somehow get through that mess. So Richard Odie, great gate run, able to kind of foresee what's going on, and he will get through unscathed. But 2 drivers, one of them that I'd pick to win, are now going to be calling it a night after that head-on collision.
Worth noting as well, obviously right there, you can see, should have put 100 on the 00 there at the very least.
I did put 100 on 00. You see how well that worked for me?
Yeah, we heard you put the chips in earlier in the broadcast there, but we'll take another look here as well from the 00 here. Again, we saw similar what happened with Hall and Wygent. Now Wygent getting the bad luck there. You can see big lick on that high wall, and the driver that won the both stages presumably will not end up winning this race here. So the driver that was looking to dominate the West Coast section of this season right now is looking not poised to do that, as he's going to have heavy damage here in the final stage.
One more look at that as just the 74 gets hooked on the apron. Nowhere to go for the 00. And once again, no fault of his own, just fate takes him out. And with that head-on collision, the 00 is out of the race. Pacey Wygent for Coast to Coast Racing, trying to go coast to coast with a West Coast swing, unable to do so for the second time in 2 different weeks. The 50 of Lilac Zier also involved. Stepping Stone Motorsports driver will probably be forced to call it a night after that head-on collision.
It's weird because we've seen throughout the past couple weeks at the previous track we were at Fontana, make sure I don't say that wrong so I don't get a correction from Joe, and Daytona as well. The drivers that were dominating the stages, obviously Tommy Reynolds won stage 2, won the race, but for every other stage winner, they won a stage and then had a poor final stage. So definitely winning the stages doesn't guarantee you much success at the very least. Look at Wygent last week. I don't think he won either stage, and he ended up winning the race. So right now, though, a driver that hasn't won either stages is currently our top 10. And right now, you can see Caitlin Height leading the way. So we'll take a look at the race summary here. 41 laps to go, 6 cautions, 21 caution laps, and 18 lead changes for the field here. And you can see, again, it's just right now, what can you do here? We're getting close to the window opening here. The drivers that came in at 97 looking like a bit of prediction well here, is they could save a little bit more fuel here, but you know that 3 is going to have to pit soon here. But if we get one more caution before that window opens for her, she can come down presumably with the rest of the field and make a net track gain here if she times it right.
And now we see pit strategies starting to come into effect. Those that came in early may have been trying to save as much as they can and force everyone else to come down pit road and figure it out. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Height and Company are going to be forced to come down pit road at a very unopportune time. Of course, if we have more caution flags, that will shake things up and give them more of a competitive edge, as they'll get new tires. On the downside, if we don't have a caution flag, they'll be forced to pit, and those who came down earlier, who are trying to conserve now under these caution flags, they could have an advantage on them.
Yeah, and that will definitely play a factor here. And again, late caution can breathe things. But anyway, we're going to get the 1 to go here, this time by more than likely. Obviously, I don't think any cars went a lap down into the previous sequence, so not much has changed. Obviously, Wygent, Henderson, Zier all in the pit lane fixing damage. A few extra cars, though, coming down again here. Arnold, Peach, Britton, and Odie. So maybe, again, it's worth noting that coming down this time by, if we go green, they could be drivers that we have to keep an eye on, because they probably will make it the rest of the way here without any real need to save.
The 22 to 27 is the fuel window plus or minus. Actually, I take it back. 30 to 35 was the fuel window plus or minus. So some of those drivers will need to save. Others are going to be forced to come down pit road. I think the biggest question in all of this, the biggest situation that we're all seeing here, what's going to happen? A caution flag will change everything, will change the entire perspective. Who's going to be betting on a caution flag? Who's not? Who's going to try to hold as much they can to get to the end of this race?
One driver betting on a caution right now is the 3 and the 9. They'll have to stop, so why not have it under yellow than have it under green?
2 turns 3 and 4. One more time. Height back in control of the field. Kevin, take us to the green flag, please.
With pleasure. So as you'll see, the Ford pace car here ready to pull on off here and take the lonesome trip down pit lane. It's going to be on the 3's control in the restart box here, as it'll actually pull off a little bit later than usual. So as the 3 gets ready, as it enters the restart zone here, green flag is out, and away we go with a little under 40 laps to go here.
The Lady Liberty driver taking some liberties up front to keep her in the lead. The 3 will stay in position number 1. Dustin Hall, your pole sitter, position number 2. Matthew Boone, Dean Clavette, they will all run the single file. Now they have to go back to DJ Trout, Eli Sasek, and listen to me, Kevin Gibney Jr., the first battle in that top group. Gibney Jr. has the advantage, trying to get position away from the 9 of Eli Sasek, one of the only 2 drivers who have finished top 10 every race so far.
Bobby Flowers hit that wall there, started to cut you off. Saw Flowers hit that wall hard and try to come down and gave Constantinu the little bit of a hook there, and Constantinu is going to get getting hooked here. So we'll take it back on the replay again here. You see Flowers kiss that wall from a little. Yeah, maybe a bit of payback as we see here again. Flowers, Constantinu, side by side here, and you can see right there on the inside line, that is the 11 of Frazier. You can see right there, 3 wide, 57 comes up, doors 19, 19 hits the wall. And you see the 19 here, try to get a runoff, try to split the middle with Pendel, gives a little bump back to the 57, sends the 57 around here. Whether or not it's intentional or not, only the drivers know, but the 57 got a good old door side lick there after a little run-in with the 19.
Another stepping stone driver falls into the pit. Let's see it one more time from the 19's position. You see him getting doored there by the 57 of Constantino, and the 19. That may have been a little retribution shot. That may have been, you come get me, I'm going to definitely come get you. And that retribution shot just happened to be a great pit maneuver to send her into the wall. One more now on the 57.
But one thing from baseball here is if you end up trying to intentionally beam someone, you never admit to it. So obviously the only one that knows if he did it intentionally or not is the 19, but obviously drivers will have different opinions on that incident. And obviously 19 is going to play deniability if he did it or not, and that's obviously for Race Cole to decide. However, the 57 is going to have a good old door shot there, and that will bring out the caution here. As we see on live action, he comes down the pit lane along with the 57, and a good chunk of the field, handful of cars though, electing to stay out. Matthew Boone will take the lead in the race up the pit lane. It's not going to be the 3 winning it because a few drivers that came in earlier are going to take a fuel-only strategy here, and the one winning the race off pit lane is going to be Zachary Meredith, with Sosi and Frazier, the 3 winning it off.
Long stop for Caitlin Height. Looks like she or True may have had trouble with that car, or she may have overshot her pit stall. Either way, she's going to drop back quite a few positions in the field. Right now, unofficially, it's going to be, I believe, it's going to be Matthew Boone in position number 1, Kevin Gibney Jr. 2nd, Brial 3rd, Pendel 4th, Mongold 5th, William Britton 6th, and Richard Odie will be the first one come off pit road in position number 7. Zachary Meredith, Josh Susi, Lily Frazier, Caitlin Height, all in the mix as well. The 3 did not have a good pit stop. I don't know what happened with the crew, but still, nonetheless, a long pit stop. Very interesting to see if the 3's pit stop for 4 tires will be a winning bet. So we continue now running these pace laps. Should be about 2 more to go after this. Up front, it will be Jeremy Boone, the 28. He was fighting quite a position quite a ways ago. He's now going to finally take the lead away from your leaders. Kevin Gibney Jr., who's also had a very quiet night out here on the field. The driver for Valfreya Motorsports in the Lions of Lady Liberty, his Camaro ZL1 will start position number 2. And then we've got one of the privateers, the 74 Jeremy Brialt, the Beatron Racing driver, will start position number 3. Chris Pendel and Austin Mongold, the rookie, will restart 4th and 5th respectively. So with those pit stops, the entire top group has been reshuffled, restacked, and now they're going to get ready to deal them one more time.
We'll see how this all plays out here. Boone, Gibney, Braille, Pendel, Mongold, Britton, Odie, running different strategies here. Makes you wonder, again, with Boone and Gibney last pitting on 87, do they have what they need to make it to the end, or do they have to hope for another caution, maybe a late caution, to try to, again, take the net track position gain like we saw other drivers like the 9 and the 3 try to do under the previous restart, a couple of restarts ago.
35 laps when we cross the start-finish line. This time time is running out. And if you've stopped on this stop, you should be good to go. The other drivers who have not stopped, who are trying to get by with what they have, they may be in a little bit of trouble. But again, that is some of the That's just a risk you take. That's something you have to do if you want to try to win this race. You got to put your chips on the table, hope it holds, hope your gamble holds, and hope that the cards shuffle in your favor. I know there's a lot of drivers up front now who are hoping for that exact thing.
Fitting we're in Vegas. If you're going to gamble, might as well pick the track where gambling is the most prevalent to happen. We'll see it all plays. And again, our iconic zoom in on the Sunoco sign to show that, hey, fuel is very important for these drivers to have.
Plus, it's a neon sign in Neon City with a neon garage.
True.
Yeah, you gotta, you gotta take advantage of the neon when you get a chance.
Oh, it looks so pretty, especially under these lights. Hey, can't blame it. Got to make sure you take the neon. Makes everything shine so good.
Unfortunately, that shine may wither away for some of these drivers out here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. 33 laps when we get back, and it will all be under the command of that driver up front. It'll be Matthew Boone in front of everybody, trying to stake his claim on this race and try to become a winner out here in Las Vegas. Pace car will make the hard left turn down pit road this time by, and Matthew Boone, driver of the 28 for Tombstone Motorsports, green flag flies. We are back to racing. Great jump for him. He is going to take a big lead over Kevin Givney and company.
Showing some experience there by Boone to get the good launch there. Gibney was slotting nicely in the second. Breo and Pendel fighting hard for the next position there for P number 3. Looks like Pendel's going to get an okay run here. But seeing right now this top 10, a lot of drivers, they're gambling and taking advantage of this newfound track position, like I was talking about earlier, to see if their cars can really run this well this late and use the clean air.
Christopher Pendel now side by side with Jeremy Brialt for position number 3. Pendel will get some help from, I believe that's Austin Mongold up on the top end. Now almost going 3 wide as William Britton gets in the mix as well. William Britton, Zach Meredith get in the mix, almost turns it into a calamity. Now they're going to go 3 wide again down that very fast backstretch into turns 3 and 4.
I was worried we're going to see something similar to what happened with Brault and Wygent when we saw Britton clip that apron, but luckily he saved it, and he'll keep it pointing in the right direction. But Meredith going to be the big winner, will put himself in the top 5. As you can see, cars still side by side here. You can see that 64 Britton trying to hang on with Mongold in the Hello Kitty Sosie machine as he's clipped the apron again. He's got to be careful, because if he does that too many times, the track may bite back.
The last thing you want is a track to bite that kitty, and the kitty's gonna keep racing as hard as he can on the outside. Susie still in 8th, Caitlin Height now in 10th, and Lily Frazier, the 11 machine, moving up into the top 10 for the first time tonight. The entire front group has been scattered, smothered, and covered. Who's going to come out ahead? So far, Matthew Boone's got a big advantage, but Gibney and Pendel battling side by side to be the heir apparent to the king, to the crown.
They're going to be so smothered, covered, and lovered. You think we were looking at some Southern food right now? We could be on the Southern swing right now, but we're on the West Coast still. You can ride on board here with Joshua Sosi in the 81, sitting in 8th, just biding his time here, using that veteran experience. You don't need to force the envelope here, especially when they're going 4 wide ahead of you here. You do not want to end up being on the back case, and similar to what we saw last time they went 4 wide, they have a similar incident, and that is going to be caution out. 3 cars involved, Meredith, Gibney, and 1 more involved as well.
Britton will be the 3rd car involved, and you saw that coming. You saw all that coming when, once again, we ask, why are we taking it 4 wide? And that's what happens when you take it 4 wide. Let's take a look one more time, and you see Britton trying to force the issue, trying to go 4 wide, nowhere to go there for the 91 machine. That will force the other 3, collect the other 3 into the wall. The 17, the 1, and Britton all involved in that one. They will probably have to call it a night after that one. Heavy damage for all drivers.
Yeah, I was having to take a look here as Meredith had taken EOL to try to get the pit lanes to be in 3 spots here. We'll ride more here with Gibney. You can see right there a little scratch up between the 1 and the 17 here. And then you're going to see, as we kind of keep an eye on the low side here in the corner, you're going to see there's the 74 Braille, there's the Britton, and then you can see right there Mongold. Mongold comes up, basically tank slaps the 64 into the 1 and the 17. And unlike the previous time where it was kind of like dominoes falling, this time it was basically like slamming a door in the face of 3 different drivers.
Let's run on board with the 11 of Frazier, who saw everything happen in real time. Not from that angle. Thank you, Will. Much better. out of turn number 4, that tight turn number 4, and onto the tri-oval up front. You see him getting a little racy. You see it going 4 wide. Some people trying to force the issue out there. And I think the 91 and Britain may have had a little bit of disagreement, as it looks like they may have traded a little bit of paint to cause that accident.
Yeah, we'll have to see again, but obviously tempers can flare at least a little bit in those situations. Definitely we'll have to see how that plays. But anyway, as it looks like we're going to go back to live action here, we'll see how this plays as we look right now. Austin Mongold's going to get promoted from the lead, so obviously involved in the incident. Now going to take advantage and take the lead here with Sosi, Frazier, Height, Hall, your top 5. More importantly, if you're coming in now, like Boone, Height, Pendell, Braille, drivers that didn't come in earlier, they now have coming in now, and they will be good to go to the end. It's safe to assume everyone should be good to go to the end, except maybe that current leader, the 91 Austin Mongold. Last came in at 96, but with all these extra cautions, he could save an extra lap or two, and it makes you wonder, is any concern of fuel in the 91 machine?
Once again, you just got, at this point, you have what you have. If you're going to stay out there and run laps, you gotta go for it. You got to commit to what you have. You've got to commit to the gamble you've made. There's no pulling your chips off the table at this point. The dealer has waved their hand over the table, said no more bets. Well, you've put on the table, you've got put on the table, and that's the end of it. At this point, you either run with what you got, or you try to pull off and get out of the way for those who can. It'll be interesting to see what the 91 does. It looks like the 91's trying to save a little bit of fuel, trying to do whatever he can to coast it, keep with the pace car to try to save whatever fuel he has left.
Gotta save now, because if he tries to save when he's leading the pack, he's just getting it swallowed up and sent to the back, which is really the only chance he has to save to get that magical number that he may have already hit, has to hit, or is trying to hit, depending on what the 91's gauges say. More importantly, if we keep getting cautions, another concern as well is they had 5 sets of tires coming into tonight's race. The drivers coming in again and again and again could be taking sets here. We obviously don't know how many sets are left for some of these drivers, but it feels like for some of them, they could be running a little bit on lowness. So it makes you think, if we get a late green-white checkered attempt, will someone take a chance here to maybe run out of tires and have to stay out and just hope they can hang on?
The 91 of Austin Mongold reminding you that his car is, of course, brought to you by the crisp, refreshing taste of Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Yep, indeed. He's got season tickets, and right there you can see the RPMs as the producer shows that you can see right there. 300, he is saving. He is cutting the engine basically on the straights, not putting any RPMs. So he thinks he can make it. He wants the track position. He thinks he can win this race if he stays up front. He's going to take the chance with a car that was running about top 10 most of the night. So save the gas, save the fuel, take the win. But we'll have to see it plays in this 91's hands in his Ford. But you know, driver that doesn't have to save, that 81. He's going to go foot to the floor along with Frazier, Height, and Hall. And if that 91's caught napping, he's going to be in trouble quite quick.
Willie Frazier also in the mix as well. You don't want to count out the Arrowhead 11 machine, as Ascent has their first lead of the night. They have ascended to the top of the pylon. Can they stay up there, though? That is the $64,000 question we're going to answer here in just a handful of laps. It will be 25 to go, 25 to go when we get back to green flag. No, 15 to go. I'm sorry, when we go back to green flag racing. It will be, again, the rookie for Ascend Racing, Austin Mongold, up front. And it looks like Mongold will take the low side, see if he's able to save enough fuel to hold off the rest of the field. Josh Susi in position number 2, Lily Frazier in 3rd, Caitlin Height 4th, and Dustin Hall, your pole sitter, rounding out the top 5. A lot of contenders still in the mix, a lot of opportunities. Who wants it more?
More importantly, just to kind of wrap that fun fact I said a little bit earlier, with Clavitt and Sasek trying to keep their top 10 streaks alive. Right now, they're 10th and 11th respectively. Keep an eye on the wind real fast. It's gone even faster. It's now at the 39 mph. Can we break 40 for the end of this thing? We'll find out if we can. But anyway, Paceco's going to pull off, and it's going to be on the control of the 91.
The 91 for the first time tonight will control this field into the Geico restart zone. Green flag flies. Mongold immediately under fire from Susie. Both drivers anticipating that green very well. And I think Susie has the advantage on the high side going into the fast turns 1 and 2.
And the spun tires by Mongold there. Sosi with the kitty claws going to try to hang it around the high side here, but don't look now. The 3 and the 11 tag teaming in the second lane, respectively, on both lines, trying to make something happen. But now that high sign beginning to move here, and the 81 going to get clear of the 91, going to come on down and take the lead back.
And the 12 of Dustin Hall giving a great shove to the 3. Not teammates, but sometimes weird. You make weird bedfellows along the way. Strange bedfellows make for better pushers sometimes. So the 81 will get in front for the first time tonight, and you will see that pink Joshua Susie car leading the race. Caitlin Height in position number 2. Austin Mongol now dispatching number 3. Dustin Hall wants to try to get around, see if he can get the pole back.
Remember, those top 2 are teammates, so you obviously no love lost, but at the same point, you don't want to wreck your teammate for a win. We'll go a little bit back here. Richard Odie currently sitting a little bit further back here, just outside the top 10, getting split 3 wide by Withers and Shad Swatsworth. As you can see, Odie kind of getting a little bit picked here, going to hold up the 9 of Sasic. Now going to jump low, just trying to find his footing and get back on that raft.
Lady Liberty Motorsports first and second right now. They want to do everything they can to hold on to that, make it a great team night out there. Meanwhile, a lot of drivers want to ruin that. Austin Mongol, the rookie, trying to hold off Dustin Hall. Now look who's in the mix. Lily Peltier Sharp also up there for Stepping Stone Motorsports. Lily Frazier, the Arrowhead driver, in there as well. So if you're not one of the top 2 drivers, you're trying to make deals with spotters everywhere, trying to figure out who you can run with and who's going to help you get up front.
Mongol's getting to scare me just a little bit there. He almost toured the car and had the 12, and now you see him flip the apron again, now in the sucker hole here. Just trying to hang on here, but that car is very tight right now. It could be a bit of a trouble spot. He needs to find a lane here and get back into rhythm if he can. You'll see him lose a couple more spots here, but back up to the front we follow. It's the 81, the 3, and the 12, your first 3, and look at someone we haven't mentioned much today. Lily Peltier Sharp sitting in 4th. She's looking to strike late and find a way to the front.
Josh Susie, Caitlin Height, Lady Liberty trying to make it a 1-2 finish. Dustin Hall, the 12 machine, the unforgiven Motorsports. I don't think he's forgiven them for losing that position as he doors the Peltier Sharp up there, and that will lose her at least 2 spots, maybe 4, maybe 6. Peltier Sharp gets the hit, and that is going to send her down the sucker hole. Stepping Stone Motorsports getting thrown like a stone all the way back to the back of the field once again.
Put a multiplier on that, 2, 4, 6, 8. She just kept falling, but luckily she's gotten it stopped. Anyway, back to the front. You can see we got the 11 of Frazier and the 12 of Hall fighting here right now. Then we see the 3 here getting an all-right run. And you can see right now they're getting racy with 20 to go. This is when the intensity gets turned from a 9 to a 10. And when we get under 10 to go, the 10 gets turned to an 11.
Caitlin Hyde, Josh Susie, Caitlin Height still 1 and 2. Dean Clavette now getting into the mix for the first time tonight. The 90 Snap-on machine is going to try to battle for the lead. Dustin Hall giving him a shove, giving him the push, and now they're going to try to see if they can do something. Lily Frazier is still up there, still in the mix, still fighting. Lots of drivers, lots of positions left to go, and you're right, we are still turning up the heat. If you can't take the heat, get out of Vegas.
Indeed. Can't stand it. Go to the back and just hope wrecks happen. But, hey, race drivers live for this. They want this. They want these pressure-filled moments, and they want to shine when the pressure's on the brightest. Right there, you can see new place car in 3rd. Dean Clavette. He has snuck up to here as well. Slowly creeping up towards the top. Remember, restarted P10. He's now up to 3rd here, but he's got a Dustin Hall 12 on his inside. And then a little bit further back, Arnold making a move on Lily Frazier as they are battling just inside the top 5.
2 by 2 as the last 4 groups, and now you see the 3 starting to try to do a little blocking for her teammate Josh Susie. This is the advantage of having a teammate up with you. They can help direct traffic, they can help push you, they can help do what they need to do to defend the lead. And right now Joshua Susie's definitely benefiting from Height, who is fighting off Dustin Hall, who moved back up to 3rd.
Plan could be right now in the motions of 3. Just hold line. Make sure you don't allow the 12 to get a run. And when 2 to go, 1 to go, we'll start racing it out. But right now, just let's keep the top 2 spots locked between us and make it so it's a pain for the other cars to get around. But right now, they get to the 12, has to split them up, and he's going to try to do it on the high side.
The 12 will go high, and he's got a great run up there, getting around the 3, has almost cleared the 3 from the top side through the tight turns of 3 and 4 into the turns that go, and Dustin Hall has broken up the Lady Liberty duopoly. It will be Dustin Hall now 2nd. Joshua Susie now has to do a little bit of rear view mirror driving, holding off the 12.
Yeah, now you don't have your teammate behind you. The pressure just got turned up just a bit here as Hall, remember, has the fastest car, pole sitter for the race. He knows he's got a quick machine. He spent pretty much the whole race to get back in a position where he can challenge for this, and right now he's not going to allow this opportunity to go to waste. Another driver, Dean Clavitt, who's almost 3 wide as the 3, is going to try to get on the fender there.
Try to get on the fender, but no dice. Dustin Hall will shove Clavitt down low, try to force him out of the air. Side by side, they go into turns 1 and 2. Caitlin Height refuses to go quietly into that good night. She will split both those drivers, waiting for one of them to make a mistake so she can get a jump on one of them. Lily Frazier now taking advantage of the draft. Josh Arnold by Flowers, Alfred Denny, all going to come along for the ride.
Now this is going to be the toe up here, and as this field gets stacked up just more and more, it's going to add more cars to this pack. More importantly, it looks like they're going to catch a lap-down car here, possibly. As I think it's Pacey Wygent. They have a chance to catch you in a couple laps. You'll see right there as we ride on board with Sosi. You can see a car there just about 2 corners ahead. That could be a bit of a factor. Now riding aboard Pacey Wygent, you can just see there's a good chance within these next 13 laps he will get caught. I don't think he'll obviously stay on the track here. Obviously his car being a bit wounded. Should pull to the apron here, not play a factor. And now yellow flag will come out, so that will be a mute point. And someone got a good save there, but it looks like it's Christopher Pendell who's been the cause of the incident.
Pendell, who's been rags to riches all night long, the Premier Racing Club driver, has been up front battling for leads, and now he's a little bit wounded as a result. Let's see what happened here as they go into the turns. Looks like he's got a little bit of competition from Carmen Sienna. Side by side they go onto the Nellis backstretch, looking for somewhere to go. No, he's going to get hooked by, I believe that's the 26.
I think it was Matthew Boone, if I'm not mistaken. And oh, Gary Donaldson just spins him around like a top and piles on in as well there. Should be worth noting as well, I heard Eli Sask on the radio saying, sorry, my bad, my bad. So I wonder if he may have had a slight factor in that. Maybe another angle will tell us this. So we'll go eye in the sky here. You can see right there, Sasic and the 28 of Boone. Yeah, Sass got the Boone. Boone stacked up in the Pendell. And that sent Pendell sideways there for Gary Donaldson to spin him the other way around.
And the 22 will get a penalty for blatantly hitting the 94. I don't think that was fully intentional, but nonetheless, for that big lick, he will get sent to the back of the longest line at the restart.
I wonder if that's more just because of the damage he got. They didn't want to hold up cars pitting here. So at the very least, though, if it was penalty, he's going to come on in anyway with that damage he got, though. You'll see on board here, yeah, that accident's definitely going to tear up a little bit of that. Look at the 78 again. Gets a good shot of that, but luckily doesn't hit anything. So I think we'll get one more look at the replay here again. We'll pick who it is going to be we're watching on board with. It's going to be William Britton in his number 64 machine. A little bit further back, that's Odie just up the road there. You can see the puff of smoke here, and he's going to have a ride here. Oh, right there on the brakes. Oh, got through it nicely. Luckily, that 94 wasn't spinning as quickly as it did, or else he would end up getting a big old shunt on that high side.
The caution flag back out on this field, and it benefits those who are saving, who are trying to conserve. Now they've got one more time to stack up the chips and see if they can make one more run around the track. So I've got a feeling, I just have a strange inkling about this. Not the commentator curse. I just have an inkling that we're not done with caution flags. This race has been aggressive all night long. Everybody's been fighting side by side, back and forth. I don't know that we're done with caution flags, just because we're still going to see some aggressive racing to finish this race.
I don't disagree with that thought here at the very least. Obviously, been a little bit of time since they've been to Vegas. The most times the cautions they've had at Las Vegas was 11 back in Season 2. The least amount of cautions was 6 in Season 1. So they're kind of splitting the difference here. If we end up getting 2 more cautions, though, they'll end up tying the record. So we'll take a quick look at the race summary here. 10 laps to go. 9 cautions have been called. For 31 caution laps, 21 lead changes. A lot of those cautions have come in the final stage when the pressure's been turned up.
Pressure has absolutely been turned up, especially if you're a driver who has not won yet, who has been in that position to win, but just hasn't locked it up yet. The 12, I'm talking about the 00 of Pacey Wygent. I'm talking about not the 00, the 81 of Josh Susi. I'm talking about the 3 of Caitlin Height. Caitlin Height, obviously, making her first start tonight. There's a lot of pressure on her to stand and deliver at least a top 5, if nothing else, for Lady Liberty Motorsports, and continue to get the points up for that 3 machine so that she can contend for the playoffs later this year.
Yeah, and she obviously left a sour taste in her mouth after her early exit after winning the regular season championship. She's obviously left a lot on the table there last season. Probably kicking her a little bit. Obviously, new season, new face, new drive, new a lot of things. So she's going to take this opportunity to set the season right if she can. I want to say one more thing, though, as we were watching those caution laps, a handful of cars elected to come in, including Lily Sharp, Tommy Withers, Bianca Constantinou, Austin Mongold, Zachary Epson, Seth Wanting, Demetri Dodson, Richard Odie, Eli Sasick. A few of those cars were obviously involved in the incident. But it should be worth noting as well, obviously, most of them took 4 tires. So if cautions breed cautions, obviously, like you were saying, Joe, and I agree with you, you're not coming in if you're up front. But if cautions keep happening, it could allow some of those cars, maybe a little further back, that took those fresh tires, like a Withers, a Constantinou, a Mongold. Oh, they have the speed. They could use that to their advantage and maybe just get themselves closer and closer and closer and eventually be in a strategy to strike.
I don't think everyone's taken all 5 sets of tires, and I don't think a lot of them are up front that have taken all 5 sets of tires. So if we do come down to a green-white checkered scenario, or if we have a quick caution that comes out before we get to that point, you could see a couple drivers come down pit road, but it would take a very long run. It would take a very, very long run to try to get back up there from the back to win this race. I think if you're in the back, sure, you've got nothing to lose. Take the pit. If you're not, if you're up front, you just got to roll with what you have and hope that it was enough.
Yeah, you don't want track position seems to be the key. You want that. Again, obviously West Coast Swing. Next week, we finish the West Coast Swing as we'll be heading to Sonoma Raceway, 596 miles away in Sonoma, California. So 2/3 of the leg done. As this race ends, there'll be 2/3 of the way done, and we'll be ready for the final wave. But obviously, we got to get out of Vegas first, and with 9 laps to go, the pace car's ready to pull off, and it's going to be on Sotsi's control.
A lot of drivers looking ready to be saying they are leaving Las Vegas as the pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road. It will be the 81 in control of the field. Into the Geico restart zone they go. Susie Height immediately on a back bumper. Dustin Hall nowhere to go. Susie and Height, great teamwork there as they will continue 1-2. Dustin Hall in third, and then a 2x2 battle from fourth on.
And racing on, battling on, top 3 again. If they can break away here, make it a battle between the 3 of them. Obviously, the 12's not teammates with the 2 cars ahead. But if you can make it a fight between the 3 of you, it helps you out at the very least. You can see they'll battle for 4th. As you can see, Clavitt going to block off Arnold. Arnold trying to find a line here. It's going to open the door for Blowers to sneak on the high side here to try to get around that 2 machine.
Dustin Hall looking high, looking low, trying to figure out how he can break up that Lady Liberty duopoly one more time. Dean Clavitt maybe coming to the rescue, maybe can give him a push and give him the air he needs to start moving forward. The 12 having no problem working now to the side-by-side with the 3, and he's got his sights back on position number 1 where he started this race.
Yeah, you can see as well, this is pushing up here. You go a little bit further back here. Frazier side by side with the 74. Frazier has those fresher tires in comparison to the cars around, not carving up. But look at Dustin Hall, wants to break up the Liberty Motorsports monopoly in the front 2 spots, trying to get the run going here. Just can't, trying to basically side draft aggressively that 3. Gonna get the run off here. We'll see if he gets the good run here on the backstretch.
The 90 driver, Dean Clavitt, was keeping the 3 relevant, tries to make the move down low, thinks better of it, and once again, the Premier Racing Club driver will side with the 3, try keeping her in the position number 2, but not by much. Now back there, more drivers start to make some aggressive moves. I believe that was Hunter Peach trying to use the dogleg to his advantage. No dice. He's going to have to try to roll him one more time.
Wadsworth ran off the road there, almost got the Nuke Cole machine there, but we stayed green. The problem is they're 3 wide per second here, and this is allowing Sosi to drive away here. This is what Sosi wants to see in his mirror. The longer they fight, the more distance he's given, and the harder it is to clear up. Hall gets hooked on Height, gonna shoot around the racing line. Height gets in the DJ Trout. I believe that is. Sienna also gets a lick. That's Dean Clavitt, but you can see Hall there, stopped on the racing line right there. He'll get fired back up. And with 4 laps to go, that's going to trigger a green-white checkered.
And that is why you do not go 3 wide into that tight turn. Let's take a look at that happen there again. And it looks like, again, just a racing deal. The 90 gets into the 3. The 3 is forced to move up into the 12. The 12 gets hooked, and they almost save it there. But nope, the 12 is going to get spun around. The 3 will hit the wall and fall backwards. And that, unfortunately, is how you end up giving away what could have been a great race. Height will move back to the end of the longest line as a result of her actions in that incident, and that could be the end of her night looking at that front end.
Yeah, that damage is so bad, she said she had to just get an EOL so she can try to get the pit lane here. So her day is probably done. You can just see those shunts there. Doesn't look that bad, but obviously the front end will be the picture perfect of this, and it will show the tear up that she had. She's having a great run, but 3 wide, racing this hard to the finish, doesn't usually end up well, and you can see the after effects of this. So we can see, we zoom in, coming through the tri-oval here, you're just going to see the wild ride that happens here, and you can see shoots up the zone here, and that point you can see 12 hits the wall hard. Clavin also gets an alright lick as well, but he probably got off the lightest of the 3 involved in that incident. Look at that car there hitting the wall too. That's William Britton that kind of just clipped the wall just a bit there.
So this should take us to the green-white checkered. This could take us to a this could take us to a green-white checkered finish, as there's only 3 laps left to go. We'll see when exactly they're going to call it, or if they're just going to let it go into overdrive.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, ESS has got his lap back here. He will be the lucky dog. And we'll take a quick look. Obviously, if you're new here, here is the procedure for HTL's green-white checkered attempts. The race finish is now extended. If the restart with 2 laps to go, if the yellow comes out before the white flag is shown, they will try it again, re-rack it, unlimited attempts at that. However, if the field takes the white flag, the race is going to be official, and they are running back to the finish. So that's how these green-white checkers play out. And more importantly, I think the past 3 rounds have all had green-white checkers. So at this point, it's going to be interesting to see who is the master of the green-white checkered.
Green-white checkered finish came into play at Daytona. It did not come into play at Auto Club in, say it with me now, Kevin, Fontana. But it might come into play here tonight. Let's see how many more parade laps they want to run. Lights stay on, so it is going to be, in fact, a green-white checkered finish. 2-lap dash for the cash with everything on the line here in Vegas.
Sorry, Mr. Cortez. I'll make sure I'll stay after to study my U.S. geography. But anyway, though, as you can see at the moment, it's still obviously, if you're up front, you're not coming in no matter what happens. If you have any fuel concerns, you're saving it. But it's going to be Sosi, Arnold, Blowers, Peach, Braille, and then you can see Height. Her race is not done. She got it fixed up, but looking a bit like a cutaway car at the moment. She's just looking just to finish this race and get as many points as she can.
So back up front, the field will be in control of the 81 of Susie. The problem, though, for him now, he doesn't have teammates to help him out. He doesn't have the horsepower he had, so he's going to be up there all alone. Your defending HTL champion is going to be running by himself, and he's going to have the likes of Josh Arnold, Bobby Blowers, Hunter Peach, and Jeremy Brault all fighting for that position. Chad Swatsworth, Willie Peltier-Sharp, Alfred Denny, Tommy Withers, and Willie Frazier rounding out your top 10. It's a whole murderer's row of drivers who will have no problem backstabbing the 81 to take away the trophy tonight.
Yeah, they look at the 81 like you had your moment in the sun. You had the championship last season. Why not us? And remember, Arnold came oh so close to making the Final Four last season. Couldn't get it done. Bobby Blowers, part-time run. He's just looking for a trophy. Hunter Peach and Jeremy Braille. Braille's a privateer, been finishing well, looking for his first win this season. And Hunter Peach as well, trying to crack that nut and get a win. Quick race summary before we go green next time by. Obviously, 3 laps to go due to the green-white checkered. 10 total cautions have been thrown, 36 caution laps, and 21 lead changes. If one more caution comes out, that will tie the HTL track record at 11.
Nobody wants to see that record be broken or even be touched at this point. I think all these guys, again, looking forward to leaving Las Vegas with an indecent proposal of getting out without any more trouble out there. Fear and loathing on the track for everybody as they do one more parade lap, getting ready to go green flag racing for 2 more laps. I think I've made all the literary Vegas references I can.
I think you're pretty good here. I was going to say, personally, right now, at the craps table, whose number is going to come on up here on the roulette wheel. We'll see how that works out. That's my one Vegas reference for the day.
Two different games. 2 completely different games. You're going to stay after to study your gaming, too.
Ah, God.
Josh Susie in command of the field. When we come back around, pace car will make the hard left turn down pit road, take us to the green.
So as you can see, Sosi, he's going to have control in the restart zone. Payshart going to pull on off. Will this be the only attempt at a green-white checker, or will we get others? Green flag is out. Away we go. Great launch on the inside lane. Arnold did not get going.
Arnold did not get going, opens the door up for Susie. Blowers now second. Brialt has a big run on Josh Arnold in third. Up front, Blowers still fighting with Joshua Susie's side. They're back and forth, nose to tail, those two drivers straddling it out on the backstretch.
Blowers going to try to make it a two-horse race between him and Sosi right now, but the cavalry is coming with Brialt, Sharp, and Arnold. And remember, Sharp came in at 134. We'll see if those tires play advantage. Coming around, no caution in sight. We are going to take the white flag. 1 lap to go here in Las Vegas.
Next flag exit is Susie, Brialt, Bobby Flowers. 1, 2, 3. It looks like Susie will have competition from Brialt. Brialt, nowhere to go. Bobby Flowers getting now a push from Sharp into turns 3 and 4 for the last time.
They got a little wrecky a little bit in the back there, but most keep it straight. It's not going to affect this finish. Can Brialt do an over-under here? He's going to go high side. Sosi going to get low. Is it going to be enough? Brialt in the wall. Not going to be enough. Racing to the line. It's going to be Joshua Sosi winning in Vegas. Brialt second. Blowers third. Sharp fourth. And Tommy Withers top 5. Sosi holds off the late charge there. And the defending champion will take the win at Vegas and give himself a lifeline into the playoffs.
Joshua Susie, your winner, has come up perfectly lucky at the perfect time. Your winner here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway and secures a big win for Lady Liberty Motorsports in the Hello Kitty Chevrolet Camaro. You're defending Season 4 champion with only 2 race wins, can now add a third one to his portfolio.
El Kitty Man Bet not lucky last week, but this week it's as lucky as it can ever be, as the Kitty machine is going to burn it down. This Kitty had claws, and it's going to show them out right now, as he'll stop on the start-finish line and spin it and burn it. The question is, will he burn out the engine in the Hello Kitty machine?
Doesn't matter if he burns out the engine now. He's won the race, and he's got now 4 wins in his favor. So great win for Joshua Susie. Great win for Lady Liberty Motorsports. We'll go ahead and take win. Now that he looks like he's done burning it out, doing the Polish victory lap, we'll take you through the results. And of course, Josh Susie, your winner here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Put the chips on the table. Comes up 81 pink. Not red, not black, but pink. Jerry Brialt, the privateer, in second. Bobby Blowers, the 19, finishes number 3. Lily Peltier Sharp makes a last-minute run to finish 4th. Tommy Withers finishes position number 5. Hunter Beach in 6th. Josh Arnold 7th. Chad Swatsworth 8th. Seth Wansing in 9th. And Lily Frazier rounds out your top 10.
Moving further down, we got Alfred Denny in 11th, Zachary Aberson 12th, Matthew Boone 13th, Blake Henderson, good recovery drive from the damage he sustained, gets 14th, and the lady boss, Carmen Sienna, rounds out the top 15. Eli Sassa got his lap back with the green-white checkered. He'll rebound to 16th. Callie Height will get 17th. William Britton, 18th. We're getting some of the cars that were involved in that late incident there. Caitlin Height, obviously with the damage, was able to get to 19th. DeMonte Dotson will get 20th. As we move further down the field, Austin Mongol will be the last car on the lead lap, P21, with Constantinu, Ruby Estes, Richard O'Day, Pacey Wygen, P. Clavitt, Dustin Hall, the one-down crew from 22nd to 27th, DJ Trout, 5 laps down, Lilac Sear, 7 laps down, and Gary Donaldson, 9 laps down, 28th, 29th, 30th respectively. And now we're getting the drivers that retired, with Christopher Pendell, 31st, Zachary Meredith, 32nd, Kevin Gibney, 33rd, Josh Gaiman, 34th, John Hagan, 35th, Marcus Chapin, 36th, Yahir Rodriguez, 37th, Caleb Eichler, 38th, and Selena Thompson getting the worst of the bullet here, finishing 39th, 125 laps down.
One more time, as a very excited Josh Susie burns it again after doing the Polish victory lap here at the start-finish line. We will talk to him in just a moment. Meanwhile, I believe we have some other podium finishers to talk to. Why don't we start with the 19 of Bobby Blowers, Kevin?
All right, Bobby Blowers, this is Kevin Nabia Booth. You got a copy?
Yep, sure do.
All right, Bobby, it was a very eventful evening. You didn't end up leading a lap, but you were up there for most of the front, for most of the race. So take us through kind of what it was like being up front there in the racing standards with these very strong wins.
To be honest, I couldn't tell a difference with wind or not, but maybe it's just consistent throughout the whole race. But it was sure a fun one. I was trying to save early in each of the stages and trying to save in the last stage, but I just couldn't keep a right front on it. I just got in a really good position there in the end and was trying to get to Saucy, but I knew I should have went high right at the end. going into 3, but I just blanked out and went to the bottom again, and ended up costing me the second or maybe even the lead at the end of that with them two getting together.
Yeah, that was going to be actually my next question, talking about the last couple, the restart there in your move, because you got well clear of the pack, and then you ended up kind of just making a bad move there. But obviously, still being in a super sub role, being a super Blowers, you ended up showing quite well there in that late restart. Moving on there as well. I guess I did ask throughout the run. I guess did tires play a factor in this race, or were you just more track position based?
It felt like tires did definitely make a difference. It was just the traffic was so brutal to get through, and you just had to be so precise with every move that you made just to get through traffic that it felt like track position was just going to be king at the end of that.
Obviously, you hit a ton of walls as well. Any major damage you sustained from any of those wall hits, or were they so flush that it didn't hurt the performance at all?
It wasn't bad enough that I noticed.
That's very good as well. Obviously, I guess moving onward at the very least, obviously next week is Sonoma. Obviously, since you are a bit of a super sub role, is there any plans of you coming back, filling in any other opportunities coming down the line here?
Nothing confirmed as of yet. We'll have to see.
Well, I know you're an exciting driver to watch at the very least. Definitely fun to see, and you definitely can provide a good role in the opportunity that you play. Obviously, if there's anyone you want to thank, sponsors, family, friends, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, I'd like to thank DJ Anderson for the ride, first and foremost. I'd like to thank my personal sponsors, 213similar.com and Blink Designs, which is a little new thing. We're actually sponsoring the truck race tomorrow at Phoenix. Hit me up if you want to paint. I'd like to thank Rance Llewellyn for sponsoring me in the cup races that I've done previously, because that was a good time going at Daytona.
hmm Well, Blowers, it's been great talking to you. It's always fun to talk to you as well. And obviously, if you do run some more races in the Cup Series, I think we'll be talking to you again. So you take care and you have a good rest of your week.
Yep, thank you.
And that was our third place finisher, Bobby Blowers. And now I think we'll move on quite nicely to our second place finisher, Jeremy Braille. And Joe, why don't you take this driver?
Jeremy Braille finishing second in the 74 Woodchuck Hard Cider Machine. Jeremy, walk us through those last few laps. It was an up and down race for you. How did you find yourself battling for the lead at the very end of this race? And what was your idea? What was your thinking as you fought those last laps?
Well, when I pitted there at the end, wherever it was, like 30 to go, I thought that was it for me because I only had like 2 other people pit with me. So I got lucky there with a couple of crashes that happened in front of me, and I lucked my way through those wrecks. And then I knew on that final restart I had to get on the outside at some point because that was the only way I was going to have a shot at it, because the outside was just dominant no matter what stage of the race it was. I mean, even when it got dark, I mean, the top could give you like even 5 mile an hour run off the top. So I tried my best to get up top, and then I sent it going into 3, and I had nothing left to give there. I mean, I'm tired of finishing second. Second sucks, but I mean, I guess I'll take it in terms of points, but I just want to win one of these damn races.
I'm going to ask you about pit strategy in a second, but I do want to ask this. As you mentioned, you want to win one of these races. How hard is it being a race team of one on this field when you've got so many guys working in tandem, working together, and trying to move forward? How difficult is it for you being a team of one out there in trying to fight off basically the rest of the world?
It's pretty difficult because nobody really wants to give you any room, and then when you're the only person on your team, you're kind of just out there by yourself. But I just try and race everybody clean until they don't race me clean, and then that's it. I mean, I have a lot of respect for everybody that races here, and I hope it goes the other way around. And if I race somebody with respect, I just hope I get it back in return, and that's the majority of the way I hope to get through these races. But sometimes it's just an all-out brawl like there at the end where we just got to get everything we can get.
So you talked about pit strategy, and pit strategy was crucial in this race. How did you manage that? You mentioned your last pit stop you thought that was the end of it. Throughout the race, how much was this race won and lost on pit road?
I mean, solely based on my speed there at the end, I don't think anybody in front of me had near as new tires as I did. So I think I lucked out there, again, with everybody wrecking in front of me. And then I think I was one of the first cars to get through on newer tires. I mean, I didn't have the newest tires, but I was on newer tires than the majority of the cars in front of me. And I think that's why I had 4 or 5 miles an hour on everybody else on that last run. But yeah, I just wish I could have played it out a little bit different. Maybe if I was up front like Josh was, maybe I could have held off whoever was coming on new tires and maybe had a shot at it.
Next week is Sonoma. What's the game plan?
Stay on the track, don't wreck, and maybe finish, hopefully.
I think there's a game plan for everybody involved. Hey, who makes it work for you in the 74 team?
John Hagan, he paid for the entry, so thanks to him. Appreciate it. Thanks to Smith Racing Designs. He's one of the best paint guys out there. Go check him out. He does all my paints, and this one's one of my favorites that he's done so far. So go check out Smith Racing Designs, and yeah, just everybody watching at home, and thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Jeremy Brialt, the Beachfront racing driver, by himself, finishes second here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And I believe Kevin Young is caught up with our leader, with our winner, Josh Susie.
We're going to talk to our race winner, Josh Susie. This is Kevin in the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, obviously, it was a very eventful race for you. You can say that at least twice. Obviously, we'll start with how it kind of was out there. You were running up front most of this race in the top 10, top 5. So I asked the same question for our third-place finisher. I'll ask you the same question. How was it up front for most of this race? How was it kind of like 3 wide, 2 wide battles you were seeing from your perspective?
Very aggravating. It's just, especially with how the weather played out with the wind, especially, everyone could basically rip it wide open through 1 and 2. And when you're trying to save the right front, you're giving up a little on entry, and then other people will just take advantage of that, and with no regard to burning up their car. And you try to do what you're supposed to do, and then when it comes time to have a better vehicle, you get pinched because they wouldn't give you the top to get around them as they shouldn't. But very aggravating to save your stuff and then really get raced hard. Not that you shouldn't be, but just trying to run the right strategy and keep a cool head is difficult.
Well, obviously, you can add more to the race if you want. I'm going to ask the next question here. Obviously, with those last restarts, obviously, the restart with about 10 to go, 20 to go, and then that final restart. Kind of take us through your mind on that restart and what was kind of going through your mind in that situation as you were getting away and just hoping you didn't get too far ahead.
Well, absolutely nailed that one restart when Mongold was leading, where I was able to take the lead, and had Dustin up there fighting Caitlin pretty hard, and I think a couple of other people. So it was hounds were on your heels, and we had the caution. I was able to get a really killer restart with Caitlin. We checked out, but then they got racing side by side, and they were racing like 2 and 3 wide. And I was just like, "Hey, you guys keep doing you. I'm out of here." And unfortunately, we had the wreck. I think I had like 6 or 7 tenths, so it was a really nice gap. And then it was just losing all your allies there on the last restart, trying to get the best jump you can, hanging on for dear life. The front car punches such a big hole in the air, especially with the wind being 30-something miles an hour in your face down the front stretch. You're almost a sitting duck, and it's just trying to play defense as best you can. I saw Braille send it 3 and 4, and I went to listen to the replay. I thought he just kind of sent it deep and then lifted and then hit me, but then I seen he sent it deep and then throttle up and then hit me. So the intention was to knock me out of the way. Fortunately, I was able to hang on to it, not wreck. Just hard racing all during the race, I guess. Not quite what I expected, but it's noted for in a future situation that it might be coming again.
2 more quick questions. Maybe I'll combine it into one here. First, gotta ask, why the Hello Kitty car? It's a great scheme. I love looking at it, but curious, we see you run the USPS most weeks. Why have you done the Hello Kitty pink? And secondly, with Sonoma next week, last leg of the West Coast swing, how do you feel about Sonoma and going left and right turning?
Well, it kind of started as a joke back when I began my road racing career, I guess you can call it. Just to be something different out on the track, and Hello Kitty. And then both my daughters saw the paint scheme that I was running on, like the Mazda and Lambo and stuff, and they fell right in love with it. So when it came to the new season, I asked them if they wanted me to run a pink car for them, and they said yes. So I'm gonna run that most races. I'll do the I think the gold USPS at like the specialty events, and maybe the regular one at a couple other ones. But yeah, it's for them. So they're always on board kind of with me. And Sonoma, man, if we didn't have such road course aliens in here, I'd say I was looking forward to it. But I know there's going to be some really, really, really stiff competition at the front of the field. So my hope is do the best I can and hopefully get a top 10 out of it, really. Short of the front runners taking each other out, I don't realistically see a win in the cards, but try to maximize points as much as I can, and thankfully got the win here, so at least the playoffs are not in question. Now we'll try to get some more and rack up as many stage points and hopefully playoff points as we can. Get that win out of the way early in the season's crucial.
Obviously, yeah, it's great to hear that story about your daughters loving to see the car on the track. And obviously, though, with four road courses coming up on the schedule, it's definitely a hard task with some strong runners. But at the same time, you've shown some speed at the road courses, so we'll see what you can do. Obviously, though, since it is ABN tradition, if anyone want to thank family, friends, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, big shout out to my wife. I want to wish her another happy Mother's Day. We'll say this wins for her, and shout out to my daughters being able to get the win in the pink car. They'll be happy to see that tomorrow when they wake up. I'll show them a picture, and everyone at Lady Liberty and our alliance with Valfreya, great teamwork and communication as always. Nitro setups, appreciate y'all. I think Smeal, who runs for me in the truck series, is watching the race, and he sent me a DM saying congrats. So thank you, Smeal. Anyone else that happened to be watching, I hope we put on a good race for y'all, and hopefully we don't have too many tickets to look over this week for cautions. And you, as always, doing a great job on the broadcast. I'm hoping, really, really hoping this breaks the curse, that championship hangover and the power rankings curse. It felt really, really bad these first couple of weeks, so hopefully this will be the turnaround I need, but I guess we'll see in the next coming weeks.
I'll have to wait and see that. Hopefully, at least in your situation, you can break that curse. But Josh, it's been great talking to you, and hopefully you have a good rest of the week, and maybe we'll be talking to you next week.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And that was our race winner, Joshua Sosi, who at the roulette table, the wheel came up pink with an 81 on the toe. And it looks like we'll get one more quick results at the race results here. Nope, no race results here, so it looks like I'll send it back to Joe for some final thoughts here.
148 laps here in the desert of Las Vegas. We finish under the lights. Kevin, we saw a lot of fun racing tonight, but it was definitely discretion was the better part of valor tonight, as those who were patient ended up taking away the big win here in Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That'll do it for our coverage here tonight. Be sure to join us next week at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on ABN1 when we go live racing from wine country to finish out the West Coast swing for HTL, Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma, California. The first road course on the HTL Cup Series list. You won't want to miss it. On behalf of my entire broadcast team, Kevin Young, my co-announcer, Kristina Ryan, the lady who makes it all work on the back end. My name is Joe Cortez. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time here on ABN. Good night, everybody.